Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Gapester, here from Gapester Studios, here for another live stream. Like I said, I would probably be going live again. It's not Kaiji Discussions, it's another interview with my buddy over here, G&G Fan.
Hey.
So, yeah, if you guys have any questions for him, feel free to type in live comment section, and he'll probably answer the questions. So, how was your day today, man?
It's okay.
What?
Nice. Did you hear me?
Yeah, you said it's okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's a pretty stressful week, if I'm being honest, but I'm okay, I guess.
Oh, why is it stressful for you if you want to say it publicly?
I mean, it's kind of trying to find your stream.
It's on Gapester Studios. Like
it's
something
kind of
just takes a minute.
yeah, it's kind of for personal reasons.
Oh. If you want to talk about it off this, we can do it later.
Okay.
Alrighty. And by the way, in case y'all don't know, G&G Fan is the one that made the famous Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah Battle for Earth video, which go check that out if you haven't. It's probably one of the best videos he's ever made.
Oh wow. That's nice.
And I heard you have some kind of plan for some kind of dinosaur thing?
Yeah, I'm doing a documentary series. It's going to be 10 episodes. It's going to be called Dinosaur Ascension, Domination, Downfall. It's a documentary series we're working on. It's going to be our goal is to be completely scientifically accurate, portray like Mesozoic life as it actually was, and as real animals, not as monsters. We're going to be showing dinosaurs, like a nature documentary. It's going to be like a nature documentary. It's going to be like a spiritual successor to Walking with Dinosaurs. It's going to be both very accurate, and it's going to have pretty great stories too. So it's going to be pretty great. We've revealed a couple of models for the series, 3D models for a couple of the animals that'll be in the first episode. There'll be actually quite a few more models coming soon that will be revealed because we've actually been recruited. We've actually gotten like 3 new modelers on the team in the last couple of weeks. It's just been a pretty good thing. So that means that we got like a slew of new animal models coming out that are going to be revealed, and you guys are going to love them. I can totally understand because like the first 2 ones we revealed have been kind of obscure animals. You probably only heard of them if you like seen Walking with Dinosaurs. Were Placerius and Camposaurus, but these next few model reveals, you guys are all gonna love because these are going to be animals that pretty much everybody has heard of. I will say since it's kind of set on the website already, I will say that a couple of them are going to be Tyrannosaurus and Barosaurus. Barosaurus is a huge sauropod. I think like Diplodocus, but even bigger. So those model reveals are coming up, plus like 3 more as well. So you're going to be seeing some new animal models for the series, and I'm really hyped for it.
Ooh.
And we're getting started on the first scene. This a scene that will be used during the crowdfunding campaign to advertise the series.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a pretty great scene. We very carefully picked a scene that we knew would grab people's attention, and that we knew would get people really hyped for the series.
And when can we expect to see that?
It's kind of hard to say. It depends on the animators, and it depends on a few factors, honestly. But I'm hoping. I don't think it's going to be by the end of the year. As much as I'd love it, I don't think that's realistic. Definitely, by June of next year, it should definitely be out by then. I would hope so.
Oh, okay. Can I say something from my opinion?
Okay.
two things. One, I just realized when Pacific Gucci's not here, I haven't heard that clicking sound, so that's on him. And two,
Oof.
as much as I want to see this dinosaur thing like as soon as possible, I think when you said you expect it by June, I think that's a better idea because you could find some errors or maybe remove or improve on some things. Like the longer something takes, the better.
I guess that's
Depends
true.
on the.
Um,
Yeah, who
yeah,
knows? Maybe you may
because
change your mind on something.
we still gotta because we haven't even really started animating the scene yet. If I'm going to be honest, we're so the model is pretty much complete, but we're still waiting on it to be completely done. The model for the animal that's going to be in the scene. That is going to be one of those that's revealed. It's not Tyrannosaurus or Barosaurus. It's going to be another animal. But that's close to being done. The animator hasn't like started animating it yet because we also got to get that model it's got to get finished first, and then it's got to get rigged, and then we also got to generate the I got to pay the guy to do the scenery, the environment, and then we got to put the animation in the environment. So and there might even be music with the scene, which would also add kind of another factor. We got to contact the composer, who's a guy. His name is Jacob A. Cadmus. Anybody who's familiar with Star Wars will know him as the guy who did the soundtrack for Star Wars Theory Vader fan film. So yeah, that's kind of proof right there that the soundtrack for Dinosauria is going to absolutely slap, because he does great work. So yeah, there might be music with the scene, which would also add another factor to how long it might take. What I meant by we've started working on it is that we've started storyboarding it. The script for the scene has been written and we're storyboarding it. So that's about how far we are into it.
Wow, I'm actually excited for this now.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's going to be a pretty great scene. We picked a scene that it's gonna be exciting. It's not gonna be like a kaiju fight, of course, because it's a nature documentary. It's portraying dinosaurs as animals, but it's still gonna be an exciting scene.
That's nice. That's nice. Let's see. Mr. Goji54 says hello. Mr. Goji says Gabe, I just got my costume and it's an inflatable T-Rex. Nice. Congratulations, man. But let's start with some questions. Since like dinosaurs and stuff, I think I'm gonna ask some dinosaur questions first before the Godzilla ones, if that's okay.
Oh, that's sweet. That's cool. Definitely.
All right. Let's do Halloween. Well, I mean, I don't really have a problem with you doing Halloween, Mr. Gucci54. After all, you are still young, and it's always good to have fun while you're still young and all that, But just be careful with what's going on in the world and stuff. But all right. So Alex, wait, am I allowed to say your real name?
It's fine. I don't care. I have it on my Instagram.
Oh, okay then, Alex. What is your favorite dinosaur in real life?
What do you mean in real life?
There's film dinosaurs like the ones from Jurassic World Park universe, and there's also the real ones that aren't reptiles and don't roar.
But dinosaurs are reptiles, regardless.
Well,
real dinosaurs are reptiles.
I thought there was some kind of birds or something with feathers.
Birds are dinosaurs, but not all dinosaurs are birds. So that technically means that birds are reptiles. Because birds are dinosaurs and dinosaurs are reptiles. So boom, fun fact. Pretty mind-blowing, am I right?
Yeah, actually. Okay, looks like we're gonna have some fun facts out here. But okay, what's your favorite dinosaur in real life? Like the ones don't roar.
That's really the only thing that I'm not really much into cinema dinosaurs. Like, for example, I mean, unless by some miracle, this new Jurassic World film actually takes its dinosaur design seriously and they're actually, pretty good, then I don't really care for the Jurassic Park franchise or especially Jurassic World. I thought first Jurassic World was like okay, but like it just went downhill ever since. So yeah, I'm in regards to dinosaurs, I'm really only into like real dinosaurs because what I'm into is the science of dinosaurs and how they were like and how they behaved in life. That's what interests me. And anyway, I'm getting way off track here. My favorite dinosaur is Tyrannosaurus. I know it's a very cliche answer. I know it is, but I pick it because I mean, what's not to love about Tyrannosaurus? It was literally the largest and most powerful land carnivore like ever to live. Like it was very successful. It was massive. It was strong and powerful. It was a great hunter. You know, you know, it's such a fascinating animal to me, honestly. And I also have a lot of nostalgia for it, so that contributes to it.
Indeed. Mr. Gurgy54 says, "You know what chicken's the closest thing to a T-Rex that's still alive? Is that true?"
Um, they found so what's interesting is they found like actual T-Rex like blood, because of a really rare type of preservation. So they actually found like T-Rex like blood cells. There wasn't any like DNA in it, so because DNA degrades, but they actually found like blood cells, and like they studied it, and I heard that like like they found it very close to chickens. So yeah, T-Rexes. I mean, chickens specifically is kind of weird to say because like T-Rex is about as related to chickens as it is to every other bird. They're distant cousins. They're both Silurisaurian theropods. So, but that's about the amount of relation they share. So it's still not too close of a relationship, but it is as close of a relationship as you're going to get between T-Rex and an animal living today.
Oh wow. All right then. Yeah, I think that was a good thing you pointed out the Jurassic film stuff. So it's like you didn't watch all the movies.
I've seen all of them. I haven't seen The Lost World and I've seen The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, but I haven't seen them in a long time. I haven't seen them in years. Yeah, but I've seen all the Jurassic Park and World movies. I just don't really care for them. In fact, to be honest, it's actually what?
Because I was gonna get into those in a bit, but continue.
The first Jurassic Park is kind of the exception. Like I know it's a great film, and it was actually pretty scientifically accurate for its time, despite the T-Rex having bad vision, which is something that never ceases to bother me. Like that's the one thing that actually really irks me about the first movie. Like everything else, it's pretty okay for the time. I can handle it, I guess. I really only get bothered when like people act like Jurassic Park is like the only thing dinosaurs are. Like that's the only thing. Like people immediately synonymize the term dinosaur with Jurassic Park. That's what bothers me, and also when people refuse to accept that Jurassic Park wasn't entirely accurate. Like if they're like still clinging on to like the big scaly raptors, that's kind of what bothers me. But I'm not gonna like trash on a film because it was accurate for its time. The first Jurassic Park is a good movie. I will say that it is. It's a really well made movie. I'm definitely not gonna deny that.
All right, but yeah, like what you said earlier, because I know a lot of people out there in the world, and they automatically think T-Rex is like and dinosaurs are that these Jurassic films got a lot of people fucked up in the head. I'm sorry, like if you to all of y'all, but like I'm just being honest here. That it got so many people confused out there.
Yeah, I find it unfortunate that it seems that's one thing I want to do with Dinostoria, my documentary, is I want to kind of dispose of the idea that dinosaurs are just Jurassic Park and that's all they're worth. Like there's so much more to them, and Dinosauria is gonna make that plain and clear.
All right, good. Yeah, try to maybe that will actually make some people understand, like dinosaurs aren't really like what you see in the movies like that.
I mean, I wouldn't say that they're like. I mean, they are. Yes, they are different from what you see in the movies. I will. That's definitely true. Um, yeah, never mind. I was just gonna say, like, and um, I do like somewhat how like the first Jurassic Park did kind of try to like portray them like kind of like animalistic, but at this point with like the ridiculous mess that was Fallen Kingdom, where you literally have a Carnotaurus that stops to kill a Sinoceratops like while the island is erupting instead of focusing on getting the heck out of Dodge. Like at this point, like the Jurassic franchise has fallen. I think I wrote a story on this on Instagram. The Jurassic franchise has unfortunately just fallen so far. I feel bad for it because like it's fallen so far from actually being progressive to literally legit being like sci-fi channel quality. It's sad, but
I mean, it is called Fallen Kingdom for a reason.
yeah. But yeah, dinosaurs definitely are more, and they're different from what's shown in films. You were right when you said that.
Yeah, like for example, dinosaurs, they never roared. Not all of them are reptiles. Velociraptors, they
All of
aren't
them are
Einstein.
reptiles. What'd you say?
I thought you said some were birds or something.
Well, birds are dinosaurs. Like everything that's called a bird is like is still a bird, but birds are like a subgroup of dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
And
birds
also
are still
Velociraptors.
reptiles because they're dinosaurs.
All right. And
What do you say
Velociraptors
about
aren't Einstein.
velociraptors aren't what?
Einsteins. A lot of people think the Velociraptors in real life are actually super smart, like an Einstein. That's what people literally say.
Oh yeah. It's another thing that came from Jurassic Park. That's true. It's not they weren't that smart.
Well, I mean, they're not retarded or anything, but just
Yeah.
not that kind of IQ smart like that.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. The Indominus Rex. It isn't real.
Well, yeah, of course. I think even the film made that obvious. I hope so.
Oh, hey, Jaws man. Alex, when's your next movie? Well, Alex over here actually has something planned. It's not necessarily a movie, but it's something that's actually pretty cool.
I think I've already told Jaws Man about Dinosauria. I told him about the documentary.
Let's see. But yeah, that's what the plan is, Jazzy. Let's see. Next question. Okay. How did you first get into dinosaurs?
Well, my interest mostly comes because I watched Walking with Dinosaurs as a kid. And I also loved Disney Dinosaur as a kid. I still gotta say, like looking back on it, like yeah, the story's cliche, but like the visuals still look really impressive. Honestly, like the CGI still looks pretty fantastic even today. I will say that that's actually pretty impressive. But yeah, I was kind of a mix between watching Walking with Dinosaurs and the other two Walking with documentaries, Walking with Beasts and Walking with Monsters when I was a kid. I watched those over and over. I would watch Disney Dinosaur a lot. And also like 3 years ago, I just I'm like I was really into dinosaurs as a kid, and then I kind of transformed into like entirely Godzilla. Like I loved pretty much like I would just do Godzilla like all the time. And do nothing but Godzilla. But then I also gained an interest in Star Wars, and then I also gained an interest in dinosaurs and paleontology again, mostly because I had some like Walking with Dinosaurs videos recommended to me on YouTube, and I was like, oh, I remember that show from my childhood, darn. And I'd watch them, and I was like, wow, I love the nostalgia, and I rewatched the series and I started looking into what inaccuracies it had, and I started getting really into the science of dinosaurs. And ever since then, I've always really kind of been into that.
Wow.
Ever since then, I've gotten really into dinosaurs and paleontology, like the science of dinosaurs, and like like I said, I really I'm really interested in like the how dinosaurs were like in life, like how they appeared and their behavior and things like that. That's what interests me most about dinosaurs. I know
That's
Jaws Man posted something in the chat. He said, "Will it have?" Well, yes. There is going to be some dinosaur sex in Dinosauria because
oh man,
nature is.
it is natural. It is.
What'd you say?
It is natural.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The natural world should not be censored. Mating is an incredibly important part of the natural world, and that to not show mating. I feel in a nature documentary, I feel would like almost be like a crime. Like ignorance is never a good thing.
And plus kids are gonna get. I don't understand why it's prohibited from kids these days. Because kids are eventually gonna find out anyway. So like, what's the point of keeping them back from knowing something if they're gonna know eventually? Like this, literally.
Like when I
no
watched Walking with Dinosaurs as a kid, I don't even like remember watching the mating scenes. To be honest, it was so long ago. But like.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure it went over my head. I was just like, what the heck are they doing?
Yeah, it's not like it's going to poison your mind or anything unless you're like sensitive or something. And wow, the audience is starting to pick up here. We got Jaws Man, Gyro, hey, Crazy Kaiju, and Bruticus Potato here. All right, we're starting to get an audience here now.
I was getting worried. There was like nobody.
I told you there'll be people. I told you people like to show up at different times.
Okay.
And let's see. Let's see. Favorite fantasy dinosaur, like for example, Indominus Rex or any of that stuff.
Yeah, like I said, that's not really my thing. I'm pretty much entirely into real dinosaurs, but Indominus is pretty cool. I will admit that it's pretty darn cool. I'll just stick with Indominus because, I don't even know really any other fantasy dinosaurs. You talk like the only other one I could think of is like Innoraptor, and it's just kind of mini Indominus. It's just like Indominus, but less big and cool. So yeah, I'd probably go with Indominus.
All right then. Okay, I guess I'm gonna ask one more dinosaur question, and we'll move on to the Godzilla stuff.
Okay.
And then, so let's see. What no fuck. What made you what's the word I'm looking for here? I know what it is, but oh yeah. What motivated you so much to make the fuck
Dinosauria?
One. Yes, that. Sorry, I keep
right.
forgetting its name.
Sweet, that's a great question. So I told you I really got back into dinosaurs. After not really having paid attention much to dinosaurs, basically, I was really into dinosaurs when I was a kid. When I was really young, and then I got into Godzilla, and then I had a resurgence to dinosaur interest in like late 2017, and that was because I rediscovered Walking with Dinosaurs from my childhood, and I watched it again. And I got really into it, and then I started looking into like the science of it and like how accurate it was, and that led me to just learning more about like the real animals, and and I just got really into it ever since. And what's motivated me to make Dinosauria is because Walking with Dinosaurs is truly something special to me and to a lot of people I know, because just how beautifully made it was. Like, the thing is, like, Walking with Dinosaurs like holds up better than any other dinosaur documentary has. Not only because like like it pushed science, like the science for the time, actually, you know, and they did their very best to be scientifically accurate. I mean, they didn't always succeed. It still has its blunders even for the time, but you know, they made an effort to be scientifically accurate. But what really makes it, you know, hold up, in my opinion, is just how beautifully made it is. It has great stories, it has great cinematography, the soundtrack. Like the soundtrack is just amazing. The soundtrack is just absolutely gorgeous. I listen to Walking with Dinosaurs soundtrack regularly. It is so good. And you know, that's mostly the reason why I revisit it. It's because it's just really genuinely beautifully made in a way that no dinosaur documentary since then has really been. I mean, there have been a couple where, you know, they were pretty good. You know, like I'm not saying I hate every single dinosaur documentary that's ever been made since Walking with Dinosaurs. Like when dinosaurs roamed America, that's also pretty good. You know, in fact, there are even a couple aspects that are even slightly better than Walking with Dinosaurs. Like, for example, its T-Rex model was more anatomically accurate, and the Dromaeosaurus actually had feathers. But Walking with Dinosaurs, I still feel is more beautifully made. And you know, overall, I think it has more. It's been the best made dinosaur documentary ever, and even though it was like the first one, so I created Dinosauria because I want a dinosaur documentary that's as beautifully made as Walking with Dinosaurs, but is up to date with current scientific accuracy. You know, like because Walking with Dinosaurs has not aged incredibly well in terms of scientific accuracy. Like, honestly, being blunt, like it really hasn't aged the best. But again, like I said, what really, I mean, there are still things in the science of Walking with Dinosaurs that are actually really good and still to kind of hold up. And for the time, it was amazing. But what really makes it hold up is how beautifully made it is. And I create Dinosauria because I want a dinosaur documentary that's as beautifully made, if not even more beautifully made, but is scientifically accurate. And you know, to even improve on some areas where Walking with Dinosaurs kind of stumbled.
I see. I see where you're coming from. Yeah, a lot of things are like giving out inaccurate information. It's confusing a lot of people. So
Yeah.
I think yours will actually I think your series will actually have some effect on people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was actually,
I hate,
you know,
there like have been like just horrible documentaries like Monsters Resurrected and Jurassic Fight Club and like Clash of the Dinosaurs that are just absolutely terrible. And that's the kind of stuff that I despise and that, you know, I'm kind of sick of seeing. Like, you know, I think there was a dinosaur documentary was actually made pretty recently by Discovery, and it was awful. Like, I think it even like promoted um like people like private like I don't know exactly what it was, but like it was basically they promoted keeping fossils away from scientists, which, you know, bothered a lot of people. So, you know, I want to make a dinosaur documentary that's like a spiritual successor to Walking with Dinosaurs that, you know, has the same idea as Walking with Dinosaurs. So like be a nature documentary about dinosaurs that presents them as they actually were, like, you know, accurately as animals like they really were, and, you know, also be beautifully made.
for sure. All right, I got two more. Well, there's two more dinosaur questions for you. Then we're gonna move on to the Godzilla stuff. So,
Okay,
actually,
Gyro Productions actually said, "Have you seen The Last Dinosaur?" I have not. I have not seen The Last Dinosaur. I know it's a Toho film, though.
Yeah, I've seen clips of it. Knowing you and like real life dinosaurs, it may not be realistic, but since I know you
Of
have
course
like
not.
a love of dinosaurs, you should really check it out, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah. And my last question, this is pretty much like leaving the dinosaur questions for a bit and moving on to the Godzilla stuff. What's your opinion about Gorosaurus? Like thoughts on him?
Well, that's actually more helpful. The thing is, this might actually kind of surprise you, but I mean, I mean, he's okay. He's pretty cool, I guess. I don't hate him, but I also just never really cared for him that much because it's just kind of an outdated theropod dinosaur. It's pretty generic design, to be honest. So I just don't. I never really. Gorosaurus was never a favorite monster of mine. I don't really think he's underrated by any stretch of the imagination. I just, he's okay. He's just kind of there. In fact, he was pretty much just made just to be a substitute for the meat eater for King Kong Escapes. And I'm pretty sure then when Destroy All Monsters came around, they were just like, all right, what kaiju suits do we have left? We have the dinosaur? Okay, let's bring it back. So I just never really cared as much for Gorosaurus. Like, for example, Gorosaurus actually gets a pretty decent amount of screen time in Destroy All Monsters. I would have much rather given that screen presence to like Baragon or Varan or even Manda or monsters that I think are more interesting that didn't give them as much screen time. So it might kind of surprise you that, even though I really I'm really into dinosaurs, that I like Gorosaurus is just kind of okay to me.
Oh, I see. Real quick though, what?
Nothing.
Okay, but yeah, real quick, like what you said, Baragon was actually supposed to have more screen time and was the one that was supposed to be responsible for Paris, but Gorosaurus did it mainly because the Baragon suit was like worn out or something, so like they had to use Gorosaurus instead, which he ended up just being a background character for like the final battle and also one scene in like towards the end of the movie on when everybody is on Monster Island, and then when we see Gorosaurus again, he's in Godzilla's Revenge for like one scene, but still made it to the poster, and that's pretty much the last we've seen of him, unless you count the comics and the video games and the Monster Planet storybook or whatever. Okay, let's see. How did you get into Godzilla?
I got into Godzilla. It was kind of a thing that was always around when I was a kid. I remember my first 3 Godzilla movies were Godzilla 2000, Godzilla Final Wars, and Godzilla 98 because my dad got them from a Blockbuster that was going out of business. So those movies, they've been around. My family's owned them as long as I can remember. So Godzilla was just kind of always around. But I didn't really actually get completely like into Godzilla. I think it was until I watched Invasion of Astro Monster. My cousin let my family borrow it one time because he like owned the DVD. And like my dad and Ryan. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said his real name, but my dad and my older brother were watching it downstairs, and I came down and I watched it, and I loved it. And we also got the official Godzilla compendium from our local library, and I read that over and over and over and over and over to the point where my school teacher literally said, "Alex, you need to read a different book." So that was so that kind of shows how really into Godzilla I got. I still have that book. The thing is, the original book, because we eventually bought our own copy, but because we were kids, we destroyed it. Like, we ended up actually putting all the pages into a sleeve and putting them all into a binder. That's how much we destroyed it. But I got a new book. It's in pretty much prime condition, and I love looking back at it sometimes, because I have fond memories of that from that book. I used to just browse through it all the time, look at the pictures. And honestly, if I'm being honest, like the compendium, like a lot of the pictures make some of the movies look better than they actually are. I mean, which is kind of what they had to do since it was officially licensed by Toho. They couldn't say this movie sucks, don't watch it. So yeah, I kind of forgot to mention another thing is that that really put me into Godzilla was the fact that along with those 3 first movies that we had, Destroy Godzilla, we also had Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee on GameCube, and like we would play that a lot. So that was also a big part of my childhood. We played Destroy All Monsters Melee a lot. So that's another thing I have fond memories of. And what else? I mean, so yeah, after that, we just kind of got every single Godzilla movie from Netflix. I think we actually like started with like Mega Megaguirus, and then went down the Millennium series, and then we went down from the Showa series. No, we went from the Showa series to all the way to the Heisei series, getting him from Netflix. So
Wow.
yeah, that's how I was introduced to Godzilla.
That's actually pretty nice. Gyro says Gapster. Keep spelling my name wrong, Gyro. It's Gapster, not Gapster. The Kaiju Week, we all know. Well, speaking of that, I actually do want to get into wikis. I want to try I don't know, audition so I can voice an episode. I'll have to look into that more. But let's see. Favorite Godzilla film from the show era. What?
I was just gonna mention that another thing that really got me into Godzilla was we would buy Bandai Creation figures from the store. We even had 2 Bandai Japan figures. It was the Godzilla 2004 and the Kuryu. So we would play with those a lot. Now favorite Godzilla movie from the Showa era? You mean besides the original? Because that's kind of like the obvious one.
Okay, you know what? Okay, new question. And what's your favorite Godzilla show film, not counting the 54? How about that?
Okay. See, 54 would be my favorite because just reasons. And my favorite Showa movie besides that would be Mothra versus Godzilla. I think it's the best Showa film besides the original. It's got a pretty good story. Actually, pretty impactful scene on Infant Island. I really like that scene. I remember one time I was actually hanging out with a friend. It was morning. We decided to pull up Netflix and watch Mothra vs. Godzilla because it was on Netflix at the time. This was like years back when classic media had to deal with Netflix and they put all the movies they distributed on Netflix. So that was always not that was pretty nice. But we watched Mothra vs. Godzilla, and I remember watching that scene, and I was like, "Gosh darn, I think this movie's actually better than I remember." Before that, I just kind of didn't think much of Mothra vs. Godzilla. It was just like, oh, Godzilla fight Big Moth, okay. But then one time watching that movie, I was like, darn, this movie's actually really good. So yeah, I think for story, and if I do have to say one negative thing about it is I'm not really that much of a fan of how much they make Godzilla into a klutz. I don't think they'd make him as much into a threat as they need to be for the story to be that serious and grim about him. But that's just kind of one minor thing. Overall, I think the story is really good. I like the fight, and yeah, I think it's a pretty all around solid movie. I like it quite a bit.
Nice. I do want to point out one thing though. There was this one scene, one little plot that wasn't necessary, but I can see why it was in there and how it made it work. All these kids on some island that were trapped there, and Godzilla's heading there, which I didn't really understand that part, but I can understand why why it was in there.
Yeah, it was just this kind of random thing that shows up. Yeah, it was to give tension to the final battle, so it was just kind of this just haphazard way to just, hey, here's a reason to care about the fact that Godzilla's heading over to this island. But one thing I kind of want to say about Mothra vs. Godzilla, is that I would honestly kind of after the battle between Godzilla and I would actually probably rearrange a few scenes if I were to ever make an edit of it. Because I think I announced on Instagram, I'm actually planning on making fan edits of the entire Heisei Godzilla series. Even though it's my favorite series, I'm willing to admit that it has flubs.
Right. So for all the series.
What?
You should do it for all the series besides the Heisei one. I'd love to see the Heisei one also.
Yeah, I'm also, I was thinking, also doing other movies. And if I were to do one for Mothra vs. Godzilla, I'd probably actually rearrange a few scenes because I honestly think, for example, the part where they trap him under the net, I think that would be better placed before the fight, And also I would reinsert the battleship scene with the Americans because it further shows how indestructible Godzilla is. And I find I just kind of rubs me the wrong way. The fact that the Japanese version would just remove that scene that heavily, that further goes to prove that Godzilla is unstoppable and they need Mothra just because, oh, we don't like that Americans are shooting missiles on our land. Like, I feel that's just like such a petty reason to remove a scene, which I think is pretty crucial to the narrative.
It is, but, yeah, like at the same time, I understand where you're coming from, but like if that was during the real movie, it would seem a bit recycled from King Kong vs Godzilla because one, you have an island full of natives. Both films have that. Let's see here. You both have Godzilla rising out from some kind of ground thing. You have both. You have both of those. You have Godzilla getting hurt by lightning and shit. That happens too. You have Godzilla getting defeated by getting pushed underwater. That happened in both films. Godzilla gets his ass kicked for a little bit, but then gets back up and starts winning. Happens in both of them. Like, do you see where I'm coming from here, though? Like, you understand?
I mean,
like, it's not terrible.
Yeah, it's not like it just kind of feels like something that it's kind of coincidental. Like, it definitely doesn't like impact my viewing experience. I would definitely say that like King Kong vs. Godzilla is also one of the higher show films on my preference list. Like King Kong vs. Godzilla, I think it's definitely my top 5 show.
For sure.
Yeah. Sort of like as I was saying, like I would like move like the military attack that happens like after Godzilla's first fight with Mothra, like before the fight, because something I kind of noticed in my last viewings is kind of weird that like since a day passes between the fight between the Imago Mothra and the Larva Mothra. Well, if you notice, like that means that like the Mothra fairies were singing like for literally 24 hours, and like the people like watching were literally also standing there for like for an entire day, just watching them sing it to get Mothra's egg to hatch. Last time it might be because I viewed the dub, because like the dubs always kind of just change weird things. Maybe it's that, or maybe it also applies to Japanese version. But I found that weird. I would definitely like do something about that.
That's not a good thing. Jaro says, "Tell us, Gabe, what are the other titles for Mothra vs. Godzilla?" Oh, okay. Looks like you think I'm some kind of wikis though. Okay, I do know there's a lot of titles out there, but I'm gonna name the ones I know. Godzilla vs. the Thing, Godzilla against Mothra, Mothra against Godzilla, Godzilla against the Thing, Mothra meets Godzilla. I know one more. Godzilla. I know it has no. Was it that? Oh, Panic in Tokyo or something. Yeah, there's Panic in Tokyo, Godzilla and Mothra. I'm pretty sure that's the title. If I'm not wrong, like it may not be the exact, but it's close. Panic in Tokyo, Godzilla, Mothra. So yeah, but next question here from G&G. Favorite Heisei film from the Heisei era?
Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. I'm pretty common. What?
That's the same answer as Pacific Goji.
That's one thing. That's one thing that that we both had in common. We kind of that was kind of a talking point for us, because we both had that in common, that we both love Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. But by the way, before I forget, I just kind of want to plug. Speaking of fan edits, I actually made a fan edit called "This Is Tokyo." It's a combination of the original Gojira and American version of the American version of it, Godzilla King of the Monsters. I basically added the Steve Martin scenes into the Japanese version. I think it's pretty cool. So, like, if anybody wants to like check that out, you can totally just like DM me or something. I'll like send you a link. But anyway, to Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. I love that movie because I think it's got a great story. I think, it's not like a masterpiece in like filmmaking, but when it comes to Godzilla movies, I think it's like the Godzilla movie that gets like the most right in pretty much every like category of like production. It has an interesting and like engaging story. I think it's pretty well paced. I find the characters interesting. I think they have pretty satisfying, development, and like they even like have character arcs, like even like the minor characters, and they have well, they don't really have character arcs but the minor characters, they have personality, they have like traits, and I think that film does a really good job fleshing out his characters, and I actually think it's a pretty solid human cast. I love the monsters. I love how they're like given personalities. They're each given they're given motivations as well. They're like characters too. Godzilla has his motivations. Rodan has his motivations. Mechagodzilla, people complain about him having no personality, but like that's like because Mechagodzilla is like the personification of like the human side. Like he's not really supposed to have a personality. It's like this. It's less human Mechagodzilla versus Godzilla, and more humans versus Godzilla. And I honestly think that's more interesting. So yeah, I don't penalize the film for not giving Mechagodzilla like a personality because like I just don't feel like it's necessary. I mean, it's a robot, so like it's like in Pacific Rim, like people don't I don't complain that Gypsy Danger isn't, for example, given personality because like Gypsy Danger is just the thing that the human characters that you come to care about use to fight the monsters. So it's more of like a personification of the human side than an actual character. I'm totally fine with that. Baby Godzilla. I love Baby Godzilla. I am so glad that Toho made the demand to add Baby Godzilla to the movie because it's actually pretty much the entire reason why I think like the story and just the entire movie is so great because it makes it's a very nuanced story, definitely, because like it gives Godzilla motivations. It gives him a reason to fight and a compelling reason too. And it adds like moral ambiguity, like when they're talking about using baby as bait, whether it's actually the right thing to use an innocent baby, put him into a war zone, and like use him as bait. That's a very interesting part of the movie, the human story like revolving around baby is interesting, and and baby himself just reeks with personality. I love him; he's adorable. So. And the soundtrack by Akira Ifukube like is just perfect. I know you can't see my camera, but like I was doing like the okay hand, like just because it's so good. And I think out of the Heisei films, it's the most consistent special effects wise. Like looking back, it's really still pretty impressive for the time. So. Yeah, that's why I love Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla too. I think it's all around, a pretty great film. It's got an interesting, engaging, compelling story, solid characters. I love the personality given to the monsters. I love the monster designs too. Like I love all the designs and like the fights is something I've seen people complain about. I guess I can kind of see it's a little justified. I will admit that I would have really enjoyed a little bit more physical brawling between Godzilla and Super Mechagodzilla in like the final battle. Like I would have loved to see them like go tooth and claw, but there is still some. I think there's more physical fighting in the movie than it's given credit for. Like the Godzilla versus Rodan fight, I love that fight so much. It's probably top 3 Heisei fights. I think it's really great. I love how brutal it is. There is some physical combat between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla in the final battle. But there's this thing because Koichi Kawakita was actually getting criticism for relying too much on beams for the fights, and he intentionally added more physical combat to the fights for Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. He tried to make that a conscious effort to do that. The only problem was that the Mechagodzilla suit was made from a material in which doing physical fights was kind of really expensive, so they tried to be conservative about it. And I do think that's kind of unfortunate, but I still think the fights are fun and exciting, even when it is beam combat. I think the the camera work and like the choreography, just like the way it's shot and just in general directed. I think it still makes it entertaining, and it's like the beam span never goes on for too long. Like the beam parts of the fight, it doesn't like. It's not like Space Godzilla where you legit just have 10 minutes of beams. I actually do enjoy the fights in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. I will admit that, yes, I would have enjoyed a little more physical combat, but I think what we do get in the fight is, like in the film, is pretty good. I think they did a really good job, especially with that first fight, and there are still some physical parts in the Mechagodzilla fight that I really like, and I think that when the monsters are using their beams, they staged it in an exciting way so that you don't even really mind.
You're right.
One thing that
Yeah.
bugged me in the this is Gyro Production speaking. One thing that bugged me in the Hasty series is the overwhelming sparks. I don't really care. I think I actually like the sparks. I like because it makes the hits look more impactful. And sparks isn't a thing only the Heisei series did. Like you can see sparks in other like movies. Like when like um like for example, like Tokyo SOS, when Kuryu like stabs Godzilla, a bunch of sparks come out with with his drill hand. So sparks have kind of always been used in kaiju movies to like show an impactful hit, and I think it worked. I like it. I mean, like the kaiju part of the movie isn't ever supposed to be like it's never been realistic. Like the kaiju themselves disobey the laws of physics. So like honestly, like I don't really see why it bothers. And he also said Heisei didn't make the kaijus look huge like Heisei Camera. I disagree. I think there's plenty of low angle shots in the Heisei Godzilla series that people don't give it credit for. Like
Godzilla. Sorry.
There's this one really memorable shot to me, like in the Godzilla Rodan fight, where Godzilla has like Rodan downed. He's like slapped him with his tail, and right when he like starts to stomp him, like the camera's looking directly up at him, and his like foot is even to come down in the camera. That's a really memorable shot for me. I thought that was really interesting.
There's a few other ones that I know of. Like for example, Godzilla 84. That scene with the man near Godzilla's foot. Godzilla vs. Biollante. Godzilla going through the city, and that guy looking through the window. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. The man in the building and those two idiots that had their camera out went into a building when he was fighting Mecha King Ghidorah. I know those one. I don't remember what the other one was. Oh yeah, Godzilla vs. Destroyer when Mickey and the other girl would buy Godzilla Jr. Gabe is hitting the bong. No, I'm not hitting the bong right now. I haven't smoked enough fat.
I love the cinematography when like during Destroyer's emergence. I think it makes make him look really impressive.
Indeed, sir. Oh yeah, Gyro says you.
Gab is hitting the bong. What does that mean?
Nah, I think you're trying to say smoke. You're trying to say I still smoke? Nah, bro. I don't own a bong. At least not right now. I'm not trying to smoke right now. Nah. But Gyro was asking if you wanted to, if it's a yes for him to reboot your movies.
Oh, well, you haven't talked to me about it. You haven't told me your plan. You told me you were gonna watch Robot Monsters, but you haven't told me what you were gonna do it. Like what your plan was for like the series. Like
last time y'all talked about it was.
Yeah. I feel a lot more comfortable to like talk to me on Instagram and told me your ideas, like for like the story.
Yeah, you guys should talk about that. Yeah, you guys should talk about that in private. But next question: favorite Millennium movie?
It's kind of fluctuated a little bit because for the longest time, I would say Tokyo SOS, but the thing is, I've kind of gone a 180 on that movie. Like, it's not my least favorite Millennium film, but last time I watched it, I found it kind of boring, to be honest. I felt like the fight choreography just killed it, but
maybe because you've seen it so many times that you got fed up with it.
No, it wasn't even that. I had actually watched it for a year. It was just that, this time I just didn't find it as. I just was kind of bored by it. I just didn't find it as cool as I used to. But now my favorite Millennium film, GMK. I would definitely say GMK is my favorite Millennium film. But to be honest, like everybody's praised the crap out of that movie. Like everybody knows So what I'd actually rather talk about is my second favorite Millennium film, which is Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, which I think is so underrated. I don't understand why so many people hate it. I really don't. Because
I don't hate it necessarily. It's just forgettable for me.
I love like the new ideas they have. Like Dimension Tide, that's freaking amazing. That's badass, I think. Like trapping Godzilla in a fucking black hole. Like damn, like that's
The
creative shit,
concept
right?
is cool.
And I like the build up of Megaguirus. I really love how I love like the portrayal of Godzilla because well I also what I love the most is the Heisei Godzilla portrayal, which is like he's kind of an anti-hero. I also love Godzilla with Megaguirus' portrayal of Godzilla, which is kind of like it's like a natural disaster actually. And I love how he's this big thing that's built up to because it's mostly because of like the fact that he only shows up every in the film lore he only shows up every 10 or 30 years or something like that. Like there's huge gaps between his attacks. And I think that really adds a nuance to Godzilla's Megaguirus because when Godzilla shows up, that big shit is going down. Like most of the other films, like Godzilla's been so oversaturated in the continuity that when Godzilla shows up, it's like, oh, it's Godzilla. But in Godzilla's Megaguirus, whenever Godzilla shows up, it's like, oh shit, it's Godzilla. Like they add this sense of dread to Godzilla that very few films do. And it's also because of the way Godzilla is shot and presented, through the the cinematography and stuff like that, and the build up and the music. And a lot of it also has to do with the fact that Godzilla looks spiky and kind of freaky. Like his face looks very kind of malicious and and they use a lot of shots that make him look kind of frightening. Like when Godzilla rises out of the water, his spines first, that's chilling shit because his spines are jagged, and it plays this really awesome music, and I think that's really cool. And those entrance in the Osaka sequence that takes place in 1996 with all the lighting and the foreboding narrator and the camera shots looking up at Godzilla and then the ones looking straight at his face, his menacing face. I think they just did such a great job making Godzilla feel like a menace. It makes him feel like this big thing that's happened. I love that. I find Dimension Tide a very interesting idea. Definitely keeps things from getting stale. And I think Megaguirus is an interesting kaiju. I love the fight. I love the soundtrack. I think that character stuff, it's actually pretty. It's pretty a lot of some of it is actually pretty funny. I think the comedic stuff is more comedic than there's a part where the dude is freaking doing magic tricks to the kids and she ruins his trick and there's this part that never fails to make me laugh. It's like when the human dude Kudo he notices the dog tag of her former of the female character's former commander, and he asks who it is, and she grabs it and walks away, and he's like, boyfriend.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. I like the human parts. I think it's it is interesting though. I find it more comedic than anything, but that just adds to the fun.
Right. Favorite Godzilla movie in the 21st century so far? It starts from 2014 up till King of the Monsters.
What do you mean 21st century? 21st century would be Godzilla 2000.
No, 21st.
Yeah, no. Well, okay. I actually think it came out in 1999. Then Megaguirus was the first one to come out in 21st century.
I thought it was called the 20th century.
The 20th century is the 1900s. The 21st century is the 2000s. The 21st century would be 2000 all the way to 2099.
Okay.
Like, yeah. What you're talking about is like the 2010s. So
Yes.
like,
Okay. Fair. Okay. Okay. I'll read this again. Favorite film.
oh, well, now I'm alone. Mega Gears was just a slimmer and faster Bactra. I love Bactra. I don't really. I mean, they have similar design features, but like I love Bactra, and I guess I love Mega Gears. So I guess. I mean, I'm not never really been bothered by the fact that I guess they kind of look a little similar.
What happened?
I don't know. I just kind of left.
Oh, my bad. But
I
okay then.
just randomly left. But my favorite of the 21st, not 21st, the
2010.
2010s is Godzilla King of the Monsters
I see. Same, bro.
because I think it's fun. I think the human stuff is pretty okay. It's more engaging than 2014. I'm sorry, but 2014 just takes like first half is great, but then it just like so slow,
Yep.
and eventually I just kind of drift off. Eventually, I just kind of lose interest. Still like the fight, but I just feel like the fight comes too late. Like I was looking at the monsters, it has better pacing. I feel like in the monster action, yes, the monster action is flawed. They kind of do the same thing where they cut away between the monsters and the humans, and that's kind of irritating. But I still think the monster action was pretty cool. I like it. I love the soundtrack. I think the story was definitely interesting. And then, the monsters were portrayed pretty great. So yeah, I think it's pretty overall pretty enjoyable.
Indeed. But like, here's a little fun fact. Godzilla 2019. He had about the same or less time than Godzilla 2014.
Yeah, but the problem with like 2014 is the pacing, and
That's
like
what
most of the fact that most of Godzilla's screen time is obscured.
that's what I want to say. Like for King of the Monsters, he may have about the same or less time than Godzilla 2014, but it's mainly because here's a couple reasons. One, there's actually other kaiju scenes in the movie to make up for it. The film was based all around Godzilla, so you feel like he's a big part of it. And also they use the scenes smartly. Like he's in the first act, he's in the second act, and in the third act. All the acts. Godzilla has pretty much nothing to do with the first act in the first movie. I mean, unless you count Dagon, but not really.
Hmm. Um, thing with Godzilla 2014 is like it's called Godzilla, but
Like,
it's really about the Mutos, and that kind of irks me. Like I feel like it should have been like a movie, maybe about Godzilla initially being like a menace, but becoming the greater of like the two evils and kind of having his own character arc. I think that would have been an interesting way to approach it. So like Godzilla, you could still have the hero angle, but you can make the film still more about Godzilla.
yeah.
Gyro Productions said King of the Monsters was too much too fast. Spider-Man 3 should have had origins for Mothra and Rodan, need their own story first. Um, I mean, I'm not really sure if I agree with that. I mean, I think they were handled pretty well because like the screen time they had is really all you need to introduce them. Like, I mean, Rodan's kind of just like, I mean, he's iconic, yes, but he's not. He doesn't really have this like special origin. He's just kind of this other monster. And Mothra, she didn't really need that much more of introduction either. Like, she's kind of her origins are kind of like mysterious at first. When you see her like hatches a larva, like I really don't feel like they needed more introduction or backstory than they were given. In fact, I feel like if they were both like given like a movie, like it would just feel like a rehash of like what we've seen before. It would feel just like I wouldn't want to see just like a remake of the original Rodan or a remake of the original Mothra. And plus, I can totally see from a marketing standpoint why they want to do that because like nobody, no American is really concerned with going and seeing a movie just called Rodan. I don't think he's that popular.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, I understand where General's coming from, but at the same time, like, there's new audiences to Godzilla, and when it comes to American stuff, like, there could have been more like info or like a little bit more of a plot in a way with Mothra and like Rodan. and Ghidorah, like just for those three. Like we know Ghidorah, he's some kind of alien thing. Mothra is some kind of spiritual moth. Rodan, some old pterodactyl from a long time ago. But at the same time, like they could, you want to make them feel like they're special and they actually mean something, not just like some kind of like random dinosaur thing. No, like there's something to be taken serious, and like it can really fuck you over. Like look what happened to Mexico, bro. They fucked up the whole place. But in my opinion, about Rodan, he's kind of a dick writer in Godzilla King of Monsters. Like, don't you think?
You kind of switch sides. You like Gigan and Monster Island buddies.
Yeah, Rodan, he's a dick. He's a fucking dick writer. I'm gonna just say that now.
Yeah.
Like whoever's the strongest, he'll pretty much just like dick write them.
But I kind of like breakneck pace, I guess. Like, I definitely do agree that there are definitely times where you definitely need to slow down and focus on the character development. Like, just to kind of prove that I'm not like a guy who like only likes like fast like blockbuster movies. Like my favorite movie of all time is The Shawshank Redemption. And that's like not at all like a fast movie. It's like slow but like what makes it so engaging is the characters and just like how. Like it's just such an amazing story with such great characters. But anyway, I don't want to get on a whole completely different tangent. But also at the same time, I feel like there are definitely movies that benefit from sort of a faster pace, where like you don't linger along too long. And I definitely don't. I definitely do think there was more time to. There could have been more time to linger along in King of the Monsters, but I also do appreciate the fact that they wanted to go faster and not like linger like 2014, where it was literally just 40 minutes where you want to just fall asleep.
Exactly. Let's not get too off topic. Let's move on back to the interview itself with the questions. So, favorite show least favorite show film and why?
Least favorite show film.
Like the one you hate the most.
Well, everybody picks Godzilla's Revenge. I don't want to pick that. Let me actually take a peek at my Letterboxd list.
I just think from your own point. Don't say because other people say it. Like this is all you. Like
definitely. I wasn't gonna do that, but Godzilla's Revenge is gonna be my least favorite. But like I want to talk about a different film because everybody picks that. Like it's boring to talk about why that movie sucks.
That's pretty much what Pacific said about something else. I forgot what it was.
My least favorite show film besides Godzilla's Revenge would be Godzilla versus the Sea Monster.
Oh, indeed. Like that should have been more of a King Kong film, and it was supposed to be a King Kong film, but I don't know what happened. It got replaced with Godzilla, which wasn't the best choice.
Yeah, and I do agree with that also, but also there are other problems with it. I feel like for example, like I feel like it goes way too slow. The fights suck. They're so like monotonous and slow, and like they're not exciting or like. They're not exciting or like really just they just kind of just drag. Like they're just kind of like whenever Godzilla like hits a bureau with a rocket, like takes him like 3 seconds for him to actually make impact. Like it's like this the way they did the fights is just so lame. And the other thing is like the whole movie feels like it was made on a shoestring budget. Like the sets do not look big at all. Like you can tell, like the backgrounds are like matte paintings and like
it's so
like it's to the point where it's distracting. The sets are small to the point where it's distracting. Like you can tell, like the set is so tiny. Like especially with Infant Island, like oh my god, the Infant Island was awful, and like the fact Mothra's like a matte painting for like 90% of the movie, but then when she finally wakes up after like being asleep while our people are literally being enslaved, yeah, really great, really great, that's a really great goddess, just lets sleep while her people are being enslaved. That's like totally out of character for Mothra. Like these people are literally dancing, like please Mothra, help us, save our people, and she's like,
I know.
oh my god, like fucking what a like darn, like I got the impression from Mothra vs. Godzilla that Mothra actually kind of cared for and looked out for people. Like maybe I'm wrong. I thought Mothra was like benevolent. But and then she does wake up, she looks like roadkill. All the monsters look roadkill actually, except for Abira, which I gotta say, I will give it credit. Abira's suit is actually pretty well detailed and well made. I will say that. But for a giant lobster, it's actually really well made suit. But Godzilla, and then you look at Godzilla, and like while he's like destroying like the facility, his eye, like his face, like legit looks like he's high, and like it's kind of funny in that way, but it's just also just like wow, like this just looks so bad. It just looks so cheap. Honestly, like it looks really really cheap, and that bothers me about Sea Monster. And also, it's slow. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know it has its fans, but Sea Monster for me, it's just slow. It's very like it looks like it was made on a very low, poor budget. Not entertaining. I didn't find it entertaining. It's just this kind of just slow, poorly made movie, in my opinion.
Indeed, and plus, like, I understand. When you said Godzilla looked like roadkill, like at the same time, you gotta remember that it's prequel. He kind of wasn't an intense fight with King Ghidorah, so he kind of did get a little bit beat up there, along with Rodan. Also, speaking of Rodan, the fucking Condor scene is like terrible as shit. Like you can't tell what's going on, and that Condor, it's just a reused Rodan that they'll just tweak a little bit to make it look like something else. But really, that's actually a Rodan prop.
Mm-hmm. And it just feels all around cheap, and like, yeah, it just doesn't. It's not. It's just not good. Like it doesn't look. It doesn't look polished, really, in any kind of sense of the word.
Indeed. This may be a bit off topic, but me and Pacific are actually planning to watch a Gamma movie soon on Discord because we're trying to get him into it. You trying to hop on that soon?
What?
Yeah, me and Pacific are gonna watch a Gamma movie soon, like another day, so he can get into the Gamma stuff. You trying to hop on that?
I guess so. I mean, sure. What movie are you watching? You're watching Guardian of the Universe?
All the Gamma movies.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, with regards to the show movies, I really don't care to see the show Gamma movie. So, like,
I mean, experience.
I mean, I guess so. Like, I saw like the first one like years and years ago. I remember like nothing from it. So yeah, I guess I will. But anyway, what's the next question? I think I've covered Sea Monster enough.
Yeah, we did cover Sea Monster in a few other films. So let's see. Next, what's going on? Next question. Least favorite Heisei film.
This is going to shock and anger people. The Return of Godzilla.
Say, bro, I swear, I feel like I'm interviewing Pacific Goji again, except there's like more details and reasons.
So, The Return of Godzilla to me, it just like I said, like kind of like Sea Monster, it drags. The action is slow. Godzilla looks like he's drunk or like high. He doesn't destroy many buildings. Okay, so you're back on your thing. Okay, so he doesn't like it bothers me how he really doesn't destroy many buildings. Like just kind of waddles around Tokyo with big dirt body. It's just like duh, just like he looks like he's sleepwalking. To be honest, it's just
Indeed, and also like the plot at the beginning, it just doesn't make sense. Like a bunch of people, skeletons, like it did look creepy at first, but like what the fuck was the point of those giant bug things? Like what's the point of that stuff?
I actually found that part, I think that's my favorite part of the movie, because I've actually found that interesting. They're like sea louse that like fed on Godzilla, so like they were exposed to radiation, therefore they gained huge, and therefore they started feeding on people. I actually found that really interesting. It shows it shows how Godzilla kind of affects the world around him. I think that's really cool. That's like my favorite part of the movie. But other than that, like I just find it dull. I think it lacks. It's just this kind of film that just kind of trudges along. Like There are people who like write essays saying, "Oh my god, it's so brilliant," but then when you just sit to watch it, it just makes you want to go to sleep. Like, it just kind of, I don't find the character stuff really all that engaging. It's so flat. I feel like, and like I said before, the action is just droning and slow. Like Godzilla doesn't even really destroy that much. He just kind of walks around with a dirt face. I will say though, actually, my favorite part of I retcon the fact that I said that the sea loss was my favorite part of the movie. Favorite part of the movie is the ending. And I know that's kind of a joke when you say like you dislike a movie. Oh, what's your favorite part of the ending? I don't mean like that. I mean like my favorite part of the movie is when Godzilla falls in the volcano.
Yeah, I know. They're kind of sad at the same time.
That is impactful. That like man, like that music and like that scream, that shit was good. And like the cinematography there was really good and stuff like that. Like that was good. I wanted to see the movie like more emotion like that. Like, like not just okay. Dower Productions, 54, 84, 2016, solo film Godzilla Walks Solo. And Godzilla 1954, Godzilla actually destroys buildings. That's the difference.
Yeah, I know.
He actually walks around and, fires his atomic breath at stuff, and, he uses his claws to, like, wreck stuff, and, he uses his tail to whack buildings, and, he steps on things. Like, you see Godzilla actually causing destruction and damage, like, ripping each other electric towers, like, honestly, it's kind of embarrassing that a film made in 1954 had a better, more entertaining Godzilla destruction sequence than a movie made in 1984.
I know, but like I see 84 as like a good example. I forgot the character's name, but like at the end of 54, he's like, if we don't watch out for nuclear weapons or something, another Godzilla could rise, and that movie just pretty much shows that like mankind has not learned its lesson. And has kept Godzilla as a secret throughout the whole world, and nobody's learned a lesson. Look at that, Godzilla has came again. But yeah, I see the flaws of it and shit. But yeah, let's move on from this though. Unless you have something else you want to point out.
I mean, I was just gonna say that.
Oh, yeah,
I do think I love the soundtrack to the movie,
especially the ending part when Godzilla's falling to the volcano, and also the love theme. I can't get those girls out of my head. Dun-na, 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 dun-na. Wasn't that song Godzilla most?
I think that song was okay.
Battle?
I think that's okay. I don't think it's like fitting for the movie at all. I think it's a really weird music for that movie in particular. Otherwise just so dark and droning. But anyway, what's the next question?
Never expected to hear that in a Godzilla movie like that. But yeah, next. Oh, hold on. 84 American version. Russia tries to. Yeah, like, what the? Okay. You agree with what Jaro said?
Oh yeah, he's talking about how the U.S. I will actually say that I actually prefer Godzilla 1985. Because I feel like it kind of helps a bit with the pacing. I love Steve Martin. I love like how they added him back. Raymond Berg did actually pretty fantastic job. I love the part where he says, and also 30 years ago they never found a corpse. Like that's awesome. Like he makes it a little better for me. I like Godzilla 1985 better. I think it kind of improved the pacing, and I like how they brought Raymond Berg back. That was great.
I need to see the Japanese one. Maybe after the Gamer films we can watch stuff like that. But next question. Unless you have something else you want to add to 84 again. Okie dokie then. Least favorite Millennium movie.
Actually, I kind of had another thought about 84. I'm really sorry. I was actually going to say something, but like I was trying to like articulate it in words. So
Yeah,
no,
sure.
I'm trying to make it quick. Okay, so basically, I kind of like dislike how Godzilla doesn't really seem to have all that much personality. Like I said, he just kind of walks around dull. There's one thing that I do appreciate though is the fact that like Godzilla follows birds, and it kind of started this trend in the Heisei series where like Godzilla is trying to find like something that's like him to connect with. And like the fact that they acknowledge that at least that birds are related to dinosaurs. I'm not even really sure if they say that birds are dinosaurs, which would be absolutely epic, especially for a movie made in 1984.
Oh yeah.
But I love how as a paleo geek, I do appreciate the fact that they established this connection between dinosaurs and birds. So that's just one thing I wanted to add to my census of '84. But overall, I do kind of think it's just kind of eh. Like, I don't think it's a horrible movie by any means. I'm not going to say that. It's just kind of this movie that just makes me want to go sleep.
Let's see. What was the next thing? Oh yeah, least favorite Millennium.
Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, I think.
Oof. I feel like I'm interviewing Pacific Goji again, but why is that? I'm actually being serious. Most of the answers you give me is literally just about the same, except you're just giving more details about it. Like you can even watch it too.
There are things I like about it. I like the soundtrack. I love the Godzilla design. In fact, I love the designs in both the Kuryu movies, but I just think they're kind of just disappointing a little bit. I feel like the movie just kind of okay. I'm trying to. So like, it bothers me how like the movie takes just so much time because like. You know how, like, in the final battle, like, Kiryu just keeps on getting wrecked, and like they keep on needing to find solutions to fix him. I felt like that's something that really bothers me because like the whole movie has been about getting Kiryu to work. Now this part is the climax. This part is the part where Kiryu's supposed to work. This is supposed to be like the hooray. Like, I mean, I could understand like getting knocked down once in like a tense moment. Like that's necessary. Like you can't just have Kiryu just whoop Godzilla's ass the entire fight. That's not going to be fun. But if you just have him getting knocked over like 3 times, eventually you're just get sick of it. Like there are literally like 3 times where Kiryu's like down for the count and they need to find some solution. In fact, there was exactly 3 times. What?
That's very annoying about Kiryu. Me and Pacific Goji actually made talked for a few minutes about power scaling the 3 Mechagodzillas in the movies, and we agreed that both Heisei and Sho Mechagodzilla could beat up Kiryu.
Well, of course. And I'm not going to say that Kiryu is like a horrible monster. I love the design, but I just find it obnoxious that he literally gets knocked down for the count 3 times. There's this whole like part where the pet bite has to pause to get him fixed, and like that's annoying. Like one of those is good, just like one. Like just have the one part where like she needs to go inside. I was about to say go inside him, but that sounded really haram. So like Akane needs to like go inside Kiryu. Like you keep that, but like remove like other like all the 2 other things that like times where they need to fix like. Where like there's a part where like Akane gets like knocked down and she needs to find the strength to get up. Like that was lame. Like you just got him working again, and now you're gonna just do that again. You're gonna make Kiryu get knocked down. Like that's just obnoxious. Like and then there's like this part where like they need to like divert all the power to Kiryu or something like that. But like just have like one time where like Kiryu's down for the count. Like that's fine. Having it happen 3 times is just like way too much. Like
That's really annoying.
And like what else? So like I find Akane kind of annoying. Like I kind of like don't like that scene where like freaking. Well, I wouldn't say annoying. I find it kind of cringy. I kind of dislike that scene where like she's like just sitting there going, "Oh, my life is worthless." Like it's just cringe. Like I'm sorry. And I don't like that scientist dude. You know that scientist dude that hits on her. I said hits her. That would have made it even.
That was so creepy.
Yeah, that dude is just like so annoying. Like he literally walks up to her and he says, "Hey, do you like children?" Like, dude, bro, do you have like any game?
Bro, I was literally cringing and just laughing. That actually made me laugh during the whole movie and shit.
Like dude,
this dude said something.
This dude's legit, like simping. She ignores him the whole time, and yet there's this like cringy part, like she's like remembering all like the faces, like the people that like care about her. She brings like he shows up, even though the fact that she shows that she doesn't even really give a shit about him. And then in the end credit scene, she agrees to go on a date with him. Like, bruh, like how did she fall for him? It doesn't make any sense.
Me either. And plus, like in the second movie, where the fuck did they even all go? Like the little girl's gone, the scientist is gone, and then that girl, and then the main character hero of the previous movie just goes out and goes somewhere. I don't know where the fuck she's supposed to go.
Well, I couldn't care less. I didn't really care for the cast for that movie, but yeah, I just find the scientist guy so annoying. I think he's obnoxious, and he's just like every time he tries to like make a move on Akane, he's just so cringe. Like, dude,
it is funny to watch.
I mean,
it's funny to watch.
I guess it's kind of funny, but like, well, I mean, to be honest, there's cringe that's for me. There's cringe that's funny, and then there's just cringe. And for me, I think that's kind of goes in the cringe.
Yeah,
like that's just
the cringe thing went to extreme level. You don't just go up to somebody and be like, "So, do you like kids?" Like, what the fuck? That's just so creepy.
like, oh my god, and like,
no.
And no, I think the movie just like spends a lot of time having to reestablish Godzilla, and I like the idea of bringing back like the original Godzilla through Kiryu. I find it so dumb that like these scientists who are like supposed to be the most intelligent people in the whole world like are completely clueless when Kiryu starts acting like Godzilla. Like you literally put DNA computers in there to make it act like Godzilla. Like what were you expecting to happen? Like the fact that Kiryu worked that long is a freaking miracle.
Oh, that's what I like about Kiryu. They technically gave him personality in a way, and managed to implement that scrapped Ghost Godzilla idea from Godzilla vs. Destroyer.
Yeah, that is a great idea. I will say, Kiryu being the original Godzilla is a great idea, but like I said, what really bothered me, I think that scene is actually really awesome when he like becomes like the original Godzilla, but. The problem here is number one, the fact that like Godzilla just kind of just heads out, like, but because like the script doesn't need him anymore. Like it bothers me in the two Kiryu movies of like Godzilla's just kind of like just this plot device that just shows up whenever he needs to. He has like no personality whatsoever, character. He shows up when he needs to. Kiryu shows up and then fires some things at him, and then he just heads out when he's not needed anymore. He's just like, I am a head out. He just goes into the water after like a few blasts that didn't even really seem to affect him all that much.
I know.
It's just so weird. But I love the part where Kiryu rampages, but I just find it so weird how like the scientists like legit just look at like and they're like, what's going on? And I'm just like, dude, what do you expect? You put DNA computers from Godzilla.
I know, but I had this discussion before from Pacific Goji, like real quick. Do you want to get into a quick power scaling convo about the 3 Mecha Godzillas real quick?
I mean, I'm not really that much into power scaling. I'm not gonna lie. Like I know that in Superman Godzilla is the strongest, and then you got Showa, and then you got Kiryu, right?
Like you seem to know all this very well. Like what you said, Kiryu, he seems strong and cool. But he's just fucking weak. One little hit from something and he's down. Like, bye-bye. Show Mechagodzilla has taken so many hits and, like, atomic blasts and even got hit by the ground multiple times. And he got back up so easy. Mechagodzilla, too. He managed to survive Godzilla's radiation for a bit before he started melting.
Mm-hmm.
If all 3 Mechagodzillas were by burning Godzilla, Kiryu will be the first to go bye-bye. Unless he uses his freezer shit, then he's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm starting to regret that thing that I've always dreamed of. Kiryu and Godzilla vs. Destroyer. He would get fucking annihilated.
Well, I mean, if you're just doing like like a fan fan battle, like you can it does power scaling doesn't matter. Like if you're doing like a stop motion battle, like then like it doesn't.
I know, but it's just the thought of it. It's kind of ruins it now. But I'll still do it. But it just I don't feel the same about it.
Well. If like it's a stop motion animation, you can make Kiryu as powerful as you want. Like I can like in my movies, like for example, I can make a monster exponentially more powerful than they were in the films, like because it's like your own continuity. Like pretty much
Yeah,
anything with featuring Kuryu outside the movies makes him out to be super big and powerful and cool. And I'm totally fine with that. They're allowed to do that, and I think that kind of allows to fill the void that was the missed opportunity with the character.
yeah. That's actually a pretty good idea. But here's another problem I have with Kiryu himself. Why do you have wires outside of yourself? Like, what's that shit's gonna get like fried and like broken? Like, how did they do that? Why is there wires outside of him, literally, as the fucking like his skin? Like, why is there wires there? That's one of the biggest complaints I have. Like, I like it, but like, that's gonna fuck you over as the character.
There's this part in like the movie where like it's like before like Godzilla shows up, they waste like 10 minutes, I think, dwelling over the fact that, oh, maybe it's unjust that we're using Kuryu. Like maybe it's like, it's unjust that we're forcing like the original Godzilla, which is actually a living thing, to do something he doesn't want, like literally kind of using him like as a tool. And that's interesting, but like then they just drop it. Like it doesn't even matter. Like they just literally legit just wasted time, and then Godzilla shows up, and it doesn't matter. Like they send the Kuryu out anyway. It's not like that contemplating actually has any negative consequences.
Like, it's a cool thought, but like they just put too much time into it. It's too much.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think Tokyo SOS handled that better. Like I was gonna say, like the time to bring that up was Tokyo SOS. Like if they hadn't had that in that movie, but then brought it up in Tokyo SOS, like because I actually love that theme in Tokyo SOS. That's the most interesting thing about Tokyo SOS to me. They start to contemplate the ethics of actually, having Kuryu as a weapon, like basically forcing. Yeah, because it is actually the original Godzilla at the end. In the end, and you're forcing this living thing to do something it doesn't want. You're tuning it into a killing machine against a member of its own kind. Is that actually the right thing to do? And I love that about Tokyo SOS. But I felt like in that movie, like it was just weird to bring it up and then not address it by the climax. Like it kind of wasted time.
It does, dude. But yeah, like pretty much Tokyo SOS is it's a sequel, but it's different in a way. Like, okay, that movie is pretty much the aftermath of Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. You're familiar with everybody. You're familiar with like some of the people. You're familiar with Mechagodzilla and Godzilla. They just included Mothra because she was referenced in the other movie, and the Kiryu saga is canon to all that shit. So why not bring in Mothra? She like you're pretty much familiar with her if you've seen your OG Mothra. And they even show clips and reference it. So it's like, oh, you want to know more about it? Go watch the 61 movie.
Yeah, I definitely do think Tokyo SOS does quite a few things better. I think they do the pacing better. I think they do the story better. But to be honest, like the last time I watched it, it just was kind of to be honest. Like the thing that killed it for me was the fight choreography. I like the fight choreography is honestly really lame. I think there was like two parts where I actually found the fight choreography to be really cool.
Yeah, and another problem with the movie is that they didn't fix Kiryu like properly. Like he still gets fucking knocked over and shit.
I mean, that's kind of what I meant by like it's okay. Like if if you have like one part where like Kuryu's down like during the final battle, like not just like 3 times where it goes out. Like that was okay. I mean, it was kind of annoying that they repeated that plot point. But I still feel like they did it better than against Mechagodzilla. But like still, like Tokyo SOS, like I mean, it's better. It's like it's an improvement, but I still think it's kind of eh. It would be like right before against Mechagodzilla in my ranking of the Millennium movies.
Here's something the Pacific Goji said earlier. Like it makes me understand it more. Like for example, there's 3 different Mechagodzillas. 3 are supposed to represent 3 different things. Showa Mechagodzilla is supposed to resemble an alien robot counterpart. Super Mechagodzilla from the Heisei era is supposed to be the future version of future tech because it was from Mecha King North from the future, obviously. And Kiryu is supposed to be a more realistic version of Mechagodzilla, which that probably would be Mechagodzilla if that was real life. So at the same time, I can kind of understand like why he gets fucked over and shit. Like, I can't understand that, but it just gets annoying
Mm-hmm.
because it's meant to be more realistic. But all right, next question. Let's see. Okay, you already answered this one. Okay, favorite design from the Showa era.
1954.
Okay, favorite Showa design besides 54.
64.
Were you say something? Were you say something before?
No. I just answered the question. It's 64. 1964. One from Mothra vs.
Oh,
Godzilla.
okay. Oh, okay. Favorite kaiju from the Showa era that isn't Godzilla?
Probably King Ghidorah.
Ah, I see. And why?
Because I like King Ghidorah. He's cool. I don't really know what to say. I mean, I like.
You why because you always seem to have an explanation and reason for everything. So I was like, okay, might as well explain one.
Well, I mean, I like the classic interpretation of Ghidorah as him being evil and a planet destroyer, space monster. Like that's kind of like my favorite interpretation of King Ghidorah. So,
I can understand that.
It funnily doesn't stop Godzilla's King Ghidorah from being my favorite movie with King Ghidorah in it, but because I just enjoy the movie more. But still, I think regarding this is the background of the Showa Ghidorah is the most interesting to me. It's the one I want to say the most interesting. It's the one that I like the most.
Let's see. Least favorite kaiju from the Showa era.
I'm not gonna say Giant Condor. I'm not gonna fall into that trap.
It doesn't count as one.
Mm-hmm.
While you're thinking, Gyro says, I would make Final Wars Gaigan the kaiju killer. Doesn't matter what you say, but in Final Wars he died easily and twice. But in my imagination, Gaigan kills all. Yeah, that is pretty much
the design of Final Wars Gaigan. I think he would make an absolutely badass, because if he lived up to his design, I think in fan stuff, they do a good job with him. They make him badass kaiju killer, and I think that's awesome. But I think I've come up with an answer. I think it might actually be King Caesar.
Ah, well, I understand why. I can see that.
He's kind of just meh.
And he's just there. He's there. He was once there. Doesn't really need to be seen again.
Mm-hmm.
He came back in Final Wars, but he wasn't really the most hyped monster that desperately needed to come back like Baragon or Varan or somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite Heisei Godzilla design?
93.
Oh, okay.
I love the face, especially. I love how they gave Godzilla Sith eyes. Can I just say, I love how they gave Godzilla Sith eyes from Godzilla's Mothra to Godzilla's Space Godzilla. He legit has yellow eyes like a Sith Lord, and that's badass.
Yeah, Rado Goji really loves 93 Godzilla, but least favorite design?
84.
Yes. Just I swear, Pacific Goji all over again.
Yeah, the dirt face, I swear there's this shot where you look at him from the very front. It's during the first scene where he's attacking the power plant, and he legit looks like the Cookie Monster. I know people say that for the sea monster suit, but there's this one shot from 84 where he looks directly right in front of the suit, and it just looks so ugh. The face. I mean, it's a close up of the face.
He looks more like Elmo to me.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there are some shots where I think the 84 suit does actually look pretty good. I will say that, but
yes.
It's just kind of a mixed bag in terms of execution.
Indeed. Favorite kaiju from the Heisei era?
Destroyer.
Okay, that's the one thing you and Pacific don't have in common. But why do you like Destroyer?
because I love his design. I love his demonic badass design. I love how sinister and evil he is. I love um, I think he's an interesting villain because he likes to torture. He likes to cause pain. He obviously like takes pleasure in it. I find that interesting. And yeah, I just think he's awesome. I love his design and stuff.
Oof. Least favorite kaiju.
Hardy. It's hard. I guess
Well,
Heisei
you think?
I guess Heisei Mothra out of default.
Yeah, she kind of looks a bit too puffy or something. I don't know. Something's
Yeah,
not right about her.
yeah, we'll say that. Yeah, she kind of out of like the main like Godzilla movies. Probably like just counting the Godzilla movies, not counting like the Rebirth of Mothra or the Mothra solo movie. I think she's like the least favorite of like the Mothra designs. Like I don't hate it, but like I like on the monster arts, it looks pretty great. Like looking at the monster arts is a pretty good design, but like in the movie, like it's okay. I mean, I don't know. There are some shots where I do agree. She looks rather fluffy, but there are other shots where I feel like she actually looks pretty cool. So I don't know. I mean, she just kind of loses out of default.
Let's see. Well, when you brought monsters, we'll get to the figures in a bit. Let's see. Favorite Godzilla design from the Millennium series.
Kuryu Goji.
Least favorite.
Man, I don't know. I love all of them. Maybe I don't know. I really don't. Maybe
You can come
by
back to it any more time.
what?
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 Who?
I'm I don't know. I guess maybe Godzilla like the 2000 design just by default. I love all the Millennium designs. I think they all look really cool, but maybe by default it would be the 99 2000 design. I think it's still really cool, but like I love the Heisei design and all the other Millennium designs like more closer to the Heisei design. So and I don't know. You know what? I'm thinking about it. I actually do quite like how the 2000 design is kind of different from the Heisei design because they don't look the same. Gyro Production said Final Wars. I do definitely have a soft spot for the Final Wars design. I really like it. But maybe it might lose out of default. I don't know. I don't really know. I can't really pick a least favorite Millennium design. I really can't.
I mean, you can either just say like you love all of them equal, or like you can come back to that later.
Because like I love Kuryu Goji, but then after that I love all of them equally.
All right, then I guess equally is the answer. I guess it's a tie for all of the kaijus. Woohoo!
You mean
favorite kaiju from the Millennium era? And while you think, Gyro, that is definitely not the case. Sorry, he is not Cookie Monster. 65 is, but
dude,
yeah, what up, Dime Muffin?
let me think. I mean, Kaiser's pretty cool. I really love Orga. I really love Megaguirus. Orga and Megaguirus. They kind of tie.
Okay, you can also choose any of the other monsters though, and Final Wars also.
Yeah, I do quite like Kaiser. I like Final Wars Gigan.
Hell yes.
Yeah, Final Wars Gigan. He has a great design, but I mean, he goes out like a bitch twice, but like, great design. Love the chainsaws, and they kind of had all the monsters go out like a bitch. They just kind of did that just because like they knew to fit it all in the screen time. So like, I mean, he's just kind of on par with the rest of the Final Wars monsters. Like the only ones that don't die like a bitch are Monster X, and like Kaiser Ghidorah. Like these are like the only one that doesn't die like a bitch.
As soon as you see Monster X, Jared says it in the chat. What a coincidence. But
Yeah, but
yeah.
Monster
So I
X is
guess you
pretty cool. Oh, I really like him.
so like what would come on again, Kamakuris?
What about him?
Like, do you like them?
I think they're cool. I think
Okay, it looks like
looks like what?
I said looks like you having trouble deciding on an answer for the Millennium stuff.
Um, yeah, favorite kaiju outside Godzilla. Mm, yeah, I guess Final Wars Gigan or Monster X or Mechagearus or Orga. I can't pick between them.
Yeah, it is hard to pick between all of them. Mecha Gears kind of looks like Batra. But you can also say equal, I guess.
Yeah, those four I like them equally.
All right then. Least favorite design.
My least favorite monster in the Millennium era.
Yes.
Manila. Like, here's the thing. Jao Productions actually
Oh.
mentioned Manila as the worst Showa monster. The thing is, I kind of have a soft spot for Showa Manila. I don't know what it is, but like, I mean,
Yeah, same. He is meant for kids.
I don't really mind his design. I actually think that the Godzilla design from Son of Godzilla is worse than the Manila design. I despise the Godzilla from Son of Godzilla. The movie Son of Godzilla I actually really enjoy. Um, some of you might find that kind of surprising since I kind of spent like 10 minutes bashing Sea Monster, but I actually really enjoy like Sonic Godzilla. Um, but the worst thing about that movie for me is the Godzilla design. I think it looks like garbage. But yeah, I have a soft spot for Showa Manila, but I do not like Millennium Manila. Like he just looks so weird. He just pops out of nowhere, and like his scenes are so obnoxious. I hate the scenes, and like if I were to make a fan edit of Final Wars, first thing I would do cut out all of Manila. Like just remove Manila from the film because if you really think about it, besides the end, he doesn't really matter. And the end, I could probably just edit it in a way where like they just decide not to attack each other, and Godzilla just heads out. Like I mean, I feel like that's just it's a pretty it's just a okay ending. Yeah, I just find Manila really like as a kid, I loved the part where like he tried to like drive the car. Um, like that was funny as when I was a kid, but now anytime like Manila's on screen, I just cringe. I don't like him. And the Final
Oof.
Wars.
Just by saying that, I already know you're gonna really hate the Go God Man Manila.
Oh my god! I saw some pictures of that, and it looks horrid. It looks like roadkill.
He acts more
Got
like a baby in it than the actual fucking.
it looks like roadkill that was literally sitting there for like a month, and like, oh my god, it looks so horrid.
Look at Gabra, the Gargantuars, King Kong. They make King Kong into some kind of rapist or something, going after kidnapping babies and kids.
Oh my god.
That's like so creepy. Now that I'm thinking about it. Let's see. Favorite monster. No. Favorite Godzilla design from the 2010s up till now.
2019.
Hey, that's my man right there. Least favorite Godzilla.
Can I count the different forms of Shin? Because I would pick. I guess I'd pick Kamada-kun just out of default because I love Shin. I love the Shin Godzilla design. I honestly think I'd rank it 2019, then Shin, then 2014. So if you're not counting the separate forms of Shin Godzilla as separate designs, then I would pick 2014.
Alrighty then. I understand that.
Because 2014, I really like him still, but I think King of the Monsters really, the 2019 one really perfected the design.
Yeah, Shin Godzilla pretty much turned him into a Pokemon, but favorite monster from the 2010s?
2019 King Ghidorah.
Least?
You're really just making me pick between the Budos or
It can also count the creatures from Kong Skull Island also.
Oh my gosh, the anime trilogy! I'm an idiot. I completely forgot the anime trilogy. So I guess my least favorite Godzilla design would be the anime Godzilla. My least favorite monster would be from the 2010s. I mean, does Servum count? I mean, actually, no way. I think even considering Servum, I would still pick either Mechagodzilla City or Anime Ghidorah. I think both are just incredibly lame.
I wouldn't even count the city because it's literally, like you said, it's literally a fucking city. It doesn't really count.
Okay, then least favorite monster from the 2010s would be Anime Ghidorah.
Okay, then least favorite monster live action.
Oh man, I didn't make me pick this. Okay,
let's see. What do you mean, Gyro? Do you mean what do I prefer?
Toughy. Oh.
While you think, I'm gonna go get some real quick.
Okay. So I really like Skilla. I like Behemoth. I like Methuselah. Those were the only three original monsters King of the Monster Show. And I love Mudos. My God, I can't really even think of one that I mean, I guess Methuselah by default, maybe, just because. I don't know. I find Methuselah the least interesting of the three new. I mean, that's probably because I know I'm just talking to the audience, but I totally fine with talking to myself. I find probably only because Methuselah, you never see its full body, just see a hint of its head. So maybe I'm kind of being biased against Methuselah just because the movie doesn't show anything of it, but yeah, I think it just kind of loses by default because I think Skull is pretty darn cool. I think Behemoth is pretty darn cool, and I think Mudos are a step above both. So let me see. Oh darn. Okay, actually looking at pictures of the whole design, it's definitely cool. I think probably wow, this thing is actually pretty cool looking. Looking at the whole design. Damn. I think actually, seeing what Methuselah actually is supposed to look like, I guess by default, Skilla loses.
Okie dokie. I am back.
Okay, so I kind of came up with the decision. By default, I think Skilla loses. I was originally gonna pick Methuselah, but then because like you only see like its head in King of the Monsters, but I decided to look up the full design. And I realized actually Methuselah is actually pretty epic. So, even though I like Skilla, I think it just kind of loses by default because Methuselah and Behemoth are just more interesting.
Yeah, pretty much. Because that spider, Skillia, kind of reminds me of that giant spider, that bamboo spider from Kong Skull Island. Let me think here. What is what? And I forgot to ask Pacific this. What unmade Godzilla movie do you wish was made, and what would you replace it with? That's pretty much a two-part question.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of them, so I'll give you time to think.
Godzilla X, Mega Gear. I'm not Mega Gears, and Gears, Viren, and Baragon.
Oh, okay.
I think it's better than.
Oh wait, I did ask Pacific that. Actually, no, I didn't ask what he could change about the film, and that's what he said. Because honestly, it'll be Godzilla vs. the Three Rodents, which would have been cool. It would have given Baron Angus a chance to come back after so many years.
Mm-hmm. Especially Varen. Varen is just fucking like he's literally been left at the bottom of like the bottom of the barrel, like just completely abandoned. Nobody gives a shit about him. It's so sad.
Same. Oh man, Wolfman and Bagon. I would have wanted to see those two movies.
Yeah, I was considering Godzilla versus Bagan. Like basically, what I would do is like I would combine the Return of Godzilla and Godzilla vs. Biollante into like one film. So like you have the functions of Return of Godzilla, but like where like you introduce Godzilla and maybe even have the sea louse. But like you also have Biollante in it and stuff. Then you have like King Ghidorah. Then you have King Ghidorah, and then like Mothra, and then Mechagodzilla 2, and then like like either you have Bacon and then Space Godzilla, or Space Godzilla and then Bacon. Like have Bacon like be between Mechagodzilla 2 and Destroyer.
Yeah, here's the thing.
That's how I would place Bacon.
Yeah, Destroyer was pretty much the what's left of Bacon, and I agree with the 84 part, but I think it should be like the plot should be a bit different, and 84 should be first, and then in between that movie and Godzilla in 89, they should have made a film in into 87, Godzilla vs. Bacon, and it would have fit well. Or they could have made that Mothra versus Bacon movie between Godzilla 1989 and 91, so that would have still filmed, and it would have been canon to the Heisei era. So a non-Godzilla movie that's canon to the Heisei era, just like what the deal with the Show era.
I definitely do think the Mothra versus Bacon would have been a really cool movie. From what I've heard of it, I mean, I still kind of wish like we could, because the original plan for the Heisei series before Godzilla's Biollante didn't really do well. Because then they were going to do Mothra vs. Bacon. Then they were going to do Godzilla 3, which was like going to have Bacon in it, and it was going to have like his origins and stuff. So basically, for that like the Heisei era, I don't think that they weren't ever intending on like bringing any Showa characters back besides like Godzilla and Mothra. But, I'm kind of glad that they went on the path they did, because I'm happy with. I really love the Heisei King Ghidorah design. I love Heisei Mechagodzilla, and I love Destroyer. And we might not have done Destroyer if it weren't for the path that the Heisei era ended up taking. So I'm kind of glad things turned out the way they did. But yeah, I think Mothra vs. Bacon would have been a really interesting movie to see.
What the fuck? How the hell do you know, Gyro?
Damn, they're literally Doritos.
Yep, you've seen Doritos, Gyro. But oh yeah, Ghost Godzilla. Technically, kind of got that, but I have a feeling they could possibly bring Ghost Godzilla into the MonsterVerse in a way. What you think? Alex?
What?
Do you think it's possible to bring Ghost Godzilla into the MonsterVerse?
Oh no, not with the style and tone that they have. No. Yeah, people may argue
I'll know
that
how
they
to do
kinda,
it.
especially since you know there's no 1954 Godzilla, so there's no Godzilla to make a ghost of.
Dagon.
Oh, yeah, that's true, but still, with the
Here's how
style
it
and
works.
tone of the MonsterVerse, like no.
But if they were to, here's how I would do it real quick. Sorry if I'm getting off top. Pretty much it follows like how they made Mechagodzilla in the Kiryu Saga. Mechagodzilla is made from the bones of Dagon, and then I guess it's like the spirit of Dagon like comes back to life or something, and it just goes rogue or something. I don't know. Yeah, welcome back, Mr. Goji. I mean Doritos. Oh yeah. I guess let's move on to figures now. So, what's your first ever Godzilla figure you ever got?
I think it was a Bandai Godzilla 2004.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. First ever NECA figure. If you collect NECAs, I never seen your collection before. I do know you own monsters.
I do have NECAs. The first one I got was 2014.
Oh, bro. Actually, no, that was my second NECA figure. I still have them to this day.
Mm-hmm.
First ever Monster Arts.
Godzilla 1994, the original. Though I
Nice.
do kind of, yeah, it is cool. Well, I do kind of regret it slightly because looking back, like honestly, especially in comparison with the Rebirth, I actually don't really care for that figure as much. At the time I got it, like the Rebirth was available, but for some reason I was really desperate for like the blue beam. So that's why I asked for like that one. And it was hard to track down for my parents, but they eventually found one and got it. I eventually ended up getting the Rebirth later because I just saw just how much, because I love the sculpt. I love it better. I love the Godzilla Rebirth. That's really a cool one. They're just so cool.
Yeah, I kind of regret selling my Rebirth.
Why would you sell it?
I know. People are asking me what the fuck. I don't know. I thought first edition was good, and plus, it was still a Heisei Godzilla, and plus I wanted to get some other figure. And big mistake. But he's not that bad, I guess. I kind of like 94 better.
Original 94. He's like, I mean, it's not a horrible figure by any means, but like, I just think they just did much better on the Rebirth.
They definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe because when I was younger, I've always wanted that figure, and I found it for a really cheap price, like a few weeks up to a month ago, for like $60. No beam though, and it's the second edition, so no dirt buys on this bitch. None of my monster arts have any dirt buys. Any of your monster arts have dirt buys?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe. I actually, my ultimate burning is dirt buys.
Oh god, everybody's has that, so I decided, like, you know what, I'm not wasting my money on the ultimate burning. I almost got that.
Ultimate burning is a travesty. Save yourself pain. Don't buy it. Don't. The thing is, I should consider myself lucky because the reason I have ultimate burning is because I have a friend who's really generous, and like he gave me my second Godzilla Monsters Rebirth and the Bandai Kamada-kun and Shinagawa-kun all for like $40.
Wait,
he was
got all that for $40?
Yeah, because he was that awesome of a friend that he gave that all to me. So, I should really count my blessings, the fact that, I got the ultimate burning for that cheap of a price. But like anybody who's like possibly thinking of like getting it for full price, just don't. It's not worth it. I really actually probably want to get the original Monster Arts Burning just because it looks so much
Oh,
better.
yeah. I just copped them a few hours ago. I just ordered it earlier, a few hours ago. For let me see how much it was. It was $169.
Darn. Yeah, but I gotta get
But,
my hands on the original Burning Monsters because the Ultimate is just a failure.
I'll help you track it down.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, if I didn't want him, I probably would have given you the one I found earlier. Then I copped it. But yeah, whoever that friend is of yours, him or he or she, keep
Who's
him
him?
keep her he around. Okay, keep him around, man. That's a real dude right there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, good luck, buddy. Do you want to pay $226 for Burning Godzilla?
No.
Well, I guess wait for a deal because that's the cheapest I see him right now. All I see is just a bunch of 2019s.
Damn. Okay, what's that next question?
Yes, next question. My bad. What was it? Oh yeah. Worst NECA figure that you own?
Burning.
Ooh.
I
almost got the I was gonna get that recent NECA one, but he's more expensive. I was like, you know what? I want the Monster Arts one. Fuck that bitch. Best one you own?
54.
Like the original one or the reissue?
I don't know. I said 54.
I know those two issues of them. There was a original issue of them. Actually, no, there's like three different versions. There's one with a clamshell that comes with nothing, which was the original release. Second release came in a clamshell again, but with a beam. Third release came in those poster boxes, and also a 56
I
version.
got the original. The first release.
Nice. Yeah, I heard the reissue one is like a bit better, but Monster Arts, I had my expectations way too high. No nail paint. That sucks. But fuck, let me think. Thoughts about NECA losing the license?
I don't really care. The figures were like 54 was the one that they did pretty well. I don't own the 2001. I don't own the 62, and I don't own the 64, so I can't speak for them. But overall, 54 and 2014 are the only ones that I own that I really actually kind of care for. The rest I just find mediocre. The other ones I own are. I mean, the NES one is actually pretty neat. It's okay. It's pretty cool. The other ones I own are 84, 94 Burning, Shin, and the Shin Atomic version, and I just think they're all mediocre.
Let's see. If you're trying to get 62, 64, and what was the other one?
2001. I'm probably not. I probably don't care for getting. I don't have the 89 or the 2003 either. Yeah.
Let's see. If you have monster variants of all of them, you're not really missing out. But I heard the NECA 64 is like really good, and 89 I own it, and he's probably the best NECA figure if it's not 54. And also I custom painted, so I kind of like it. 62 Gyro, the face is a bit weird, and it's okay. $2003 if you.
Yeah, I consider getting the 62, and the 64 looks pretty neat. Pacific really seems to love it. 89 looks pretty cool.
He is. Just custom paint the eyes, and he's perfect. 2003, the head is a bit weird at some angles.
Oh yeah, and Pacific showed me the 2003. Yeah, I that doesn't look good to me. It doesn't look good to me. They totally messed up on the head.
Yeah, if you have the Monster Arts 2002, you you're not really missing anything. But 89 Godzilla, that's like a must-have if you don't have a NECA figure. That's probably one of the must-have NECAs you should get. Because that NECA 89 is a big ass step up from the 94 Godzilla. Like, just don't even waste your money on the 94. What is your story, Mr. Good G54? Where is it? Did you say it above? I wasn't reading, sorry. A good story. Godzilla recognized Mecha Godzilla, so-called relative. Team up on Kong Godzilla. Oh wow. That's actually not bad of a story, but I hope that doesn't really happen in the movie. What? How is NECA Kong the worst figure? I mean, I understand why, but like, what's your reason? And let's see, question for G&G. Best SH Monster Arts.
Probably Rebirth, actually, and that's kind of saying a lot because I own the King Ghidorah, I own Mecha King Ghidorah, I own the King Ghidorah Special Color Version, I own Mecha King Ghidorah, I own Destroya, I own Biolante, I own Destroya Special Color Version. That's the one I own, not the original. But yeah, I also own Biolante, I own Kuryu, but I just love Rebirth. I have a soft spot for Rebirth, so I have to pick it. 2019 is also pretty great, but yeah, Rebirth.
2019 is very amazing. Worst one.
Worst one that I own. I'm not gonna cop out and say the Evolution set.
I mean,
it's true, but like it's just such a generic answer.
If it was OG press, I'll probably pay for it, but price it is now. I don't have plans for it.
The 2014 is really Yeah,
He's stylized and too many quality control issues. 2019 is a big step up from him. If you just get the NECA 2014, if you want to decently super articulated and film accurate, that's all 2014. Don't waste your time with Monster Arts.
G&G, which HHMA you don't have? I mean, I can't really answer that question. I don't know every single Monster Arts figure by heart, but I guess I can tell you all the Monster Arts figures I have. So I have the Baxter Special Color Version, which means both forms. I have Mecha King Ghidorah, Special Color Version King Ghidorah, Baxtra. Well, I already said him. Gigan 2004. I have Space Godzilla, Original Mechagodzilla 93, Kuryu, Super Mechagodzilla, Ultimate Burning, Godzilla 94, Godzilla Rebirth, Godzilla 2019, Godzilla 2000 Special Color, Godzilla Jr., Little Godzilla, Godzilla 2014, Mechagodzilla poster, Fire Rodan, Mogira, Biolante, Ishmael Special Color, and the Evolution set.
Wow,
Tech, Anguirus, and Legion.
Oh, you got Reveltex?
Mm-hmm.
You should get the Baragon.
My brother owns a Baragon.
Mogira, Heisei.
I have the Monster Arts Mogira.
Oh no, I'm Heisei. I mean Showa Mogira from Reveltech.
Oh no, I don't have it.
Oh.
The ones I mentioned
are
the two Reveltechs I have.
You don't own 62?
Nope.
Oh, speaking of 62, I'm actually gonna cop 3 more of them soon so I can resell them.
Oh, okay.
So if you need 62, hit me up. I actually do have one for sale right now, actually. It's on a bidding. Nobody's bidded yet. But let me know. Anybody here that's watching, let me know also. But, let me think. What is the most unnecessary Monster Arts repaint there is? And it should just either should never happen or it should just been a reissue instead.
Ultimate Burning. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I guess the idea was cool, like having like the burning, like the smoke parts, but they failed. The figure is bad.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy I didn't get that
Mecha
today.
Godzilla poster. You mean the Chigokin? Yes. I mean the Chigokin Mecha Godzilla gyro.
Well, technically, it's both a Monster Arts and Shikoken figure, but let me think here. Yeah, the Ultimate BG, like they made everything orange. Like, I mean, you can't lie at the same time because pretty much everybody complained about the first figure having the full white tail, even though and the white spines, even though it was movie accurate. What?
I was saying, that's accurate to the suit. Why would they complain about it?
I know everybody was complaining about it. So like, this is what's funny about fans these days. I have to go on a little rant here. They ask for something, and then when they get it, they complain about it also. Like, what the fuck was wrong with the original? Like, I understand, but like, come on, that's literally the film accurate suit. And then when you ask for for everything to be orange, there you go. You got what you fucking wanted. Happy now? Make up your goddamn mind, people.
Well, I mean,
And the paint is shit on the repaint. The repaint.
Yeah, they made gloss,
And
like the eyes look like shit, and like, yeah, and it's just crap. It's crap.
oh my god! And plus, like, yeah, I heard the gaps on it, like, I heard they're easier to fix than the original burning, and you kind of want the gaps so you can put the smoke effects in there. But I also heard that what the fuck was it? I know there was one other quality control issue. Yeah, some people received the paint on the paint on like the tail, like towards the end of it. It's like terrible like quality paint. Like it chips off easy, and like some people even receive the figure with already paint chips already. Like what the fuck happened there?
Okay.
Jeez.
So what's the next question?
Yes, next question. Worst. No, not worst. Do you own any X pluses?
I own the 92.
Oh, is that y'all?
92 Yuji Sakai Godzilla.
Oh, I'm trying to sell the garage on 92 one. What figure do you want Monster Arts to make that they didn't make yet?
Orga Mega Garrus. Orga and Mega Garrus. They would make such badass figures.
Yeah, they would. If they do that, then that'll give them a reason to make a suit accurate Godzilla 2000. But you know what? That could be good thing for Monster Arts. Like they can have the 2000 version, and then they can make a repaint of it, like they always fucking do, and make it the Mega Gearus version, and then there you go.
Yeah.
But suit that you want from Godzilla.
I don't really know. I'm incredibly satisfied with the Rebirth. I want to get the 54, but I just never did, and eventually, like I don't know, like I'm not dying to get the 54. I look at like pictures of it and I think, oh, it's really cool. I might want to get the Monsters 54, but I don't end up actually getting it because money's kind of something I'm really being careful about because of Dinosauria. So
You're right.
okay.
If you do want to get him, he's pretty cheap now, so you may want to take advantage of that soon.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like they made the suits that I really care about the most.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, they made Kuryoji, they made 54, they made Heisei. I mean, not. I mean, like, but Rebirth just looks enough like 93 that I don't even really care. Like, I mean, if they made like a completely suit after 93, then maybe I just get out and get it just because, like, I love the 93 suit. But like a 91, I actually wait. No, I believe they actually announced that they're making like a non-Kyokyo 89.
Well, I mean, they teased it. Not this confirmed, but they teased an 89 scaled down in the shadows and light or something. So it is possible. If it is possible,
and if it's good, 91. So
I don't know why everyone keeps saying 91. I don't mean to be a dick or anything, but like why would they tease that with a Biolante though? That's what I don't get.
because it matches Biollante. Like it's the movie that it appeared in.
But I mean, there are different suits. I mean, they're similar. I mean, this one of the suits is reused, but like the head's different.
No, they didn't use it in '91. They used it in '89.
Oh, I see.
But gonna say, that I would actually be interested in seeing a 1991 Godzilla a monster art. But then I realized they're making a normal '89 Godzilla monster art, and they're very very similar. So I don't think there'd be a point in asking for a '91 at that point.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
there
I
are
mean, if they do make,
differences, but like,
yeah, actually, but if they do make it later on, I'll definitely cop maybe, because I'm kind of happy with my NECA one right now.
mm-hmm.
What Monster Arts figure do you think needs to be reissued that hasn't had one yet? And there's a couple that haven't.
I would love to see a new Rodan with the normal colors and with a baby Godzilla accessory.
Ah, yes. Because that was supposed to happen. Well, not the baby Godzilla, but the Rodan himself. Here's what Monster Arts could have done, and it would have made sense. Like, they should have released the normal Rodan first, and then they can do the repaint as Fire Rodan. That would have been the perfect repaint right there.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect plan for Monster Arts right there.
I think this would really. I mean, like SH Monster Arts are clearly Heisei fanboys, so I don't think this is completely out of the question. If they would make a super articulated Godzilla and Godzillasaurus, like not like tiny, but like the same size, because that would really help for my movies, especially like for robot monsters with baby Godzilla and Godzilla God monsters with Godzillasaurus. I would love it if they made Monster Arts Godzillasaurus and baby Godzilla, but I doubt it'll happen. But I don't think it's like entirely out of the question because of how much fucking Monster Arts loves Heisei. But like I think
I think they'll do that. I think they'll do that later. But like, yeah, they're too much of fucking Heisei fanboys. Like, I wish they would do more of the Showa stuff, because there's a lot of Showa stuff that could be done. Like, they said they're eventually gonna get everything, but like, God, just like at least come on, like to split it up.
I mean, I love the
Heisei
design, so I mean, like, I don't think it's too terrible, but I understand. I do want more Showa and Millennium stuff.
I mean, they pretty much almost have every Godzilla Millennium suit. They just need a suit accurate 2000, and they need a Final Wars Godzilla, which is pretty high demand from everybody. And we're not getting a NECA one, so Monster is pretty much our last choice here for a super articulated one. Unless there's some other super articulated company that will make super articulated Godzilla figures, takes over for the American stuff. But until then, Monster Arts is our only thing, which I'm now able to afford Monster Arts now. So I don't really mind it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So, about your fan films, like, what's your plan with your fan films?
Yeah, I plan on them still happening. I said that multiple times. I plan on making because for a little bit I was gonna do like a Kyojin Godzilla cinematic universe with Sam and Morzilla films, and it was gonna be this big thing. But then it split off. We kind of went our own direction. So I do plan on bringing back the Kyojin series to be rebooted with Godzilla God of Monsters. Then I'd remake Godzilla Returns. It's pretty much entirely different film, but I think it'd be a better movie. I think it'd be much better. What I have planned for a remake of Godzilla Returns would be a much better movie than the original. Then I'd remake Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah and then Godzilla vs. Robot Monsters. They would be less tampered with. Like they would still have the core of their stories and stuff. Like especially Robot Monsters. Like Robot Monsters is probably gonna be the least changed of the three remakes because I feel like it's the one with the best story. But it still stumbles in some places, especially in terms of originality. But the new Robot Monsters I have planned, like I do acknowledge the fact that the original Robot Monsters has a lot in common with Mechagodzilla 2 to the point where it's kind of makes it predictable. But the new Robot Monsters will not have that flaw. It's going to be different from Mechagodzilla 2 in more ways. And then after that is going to be a big finale movie. I'm not going to specify anything more than it's going to be a finale movie.
Yeah, let's keep that on the low for a bit. But
Yeah, definitely.
now,
these movies will be stop motion. So, they're and I will put a lot more emphasis on digital effects. Think more Daikaiju Legends.
yeah, I'm trying to do that more with my stuff.
What were you
Any
gonna say?
stuff, but I said I'm trying to do that also.
I would love to work with Gyro Productions. I'm not really sure how I feel about combining the 3 films into one, but honestly, I would love help. I would love help. Gyro Productions, your shit looks. You're like the stuff you make actually looks really good. Like I would fucking love your help. Honestly, like
Yeah, Gyro makes pretty good stuff actually. Like, have you seen his Instagram stuff?
uh-huh.
Yeah, I remember. Like, hold on, what was the other one? I actually did some footage. That like it took me like a month to do because I kept focusing on other stuff. But he sent me this Megalon footage, and he wanted me to test a blue screen and green screen. And to answer your question, Gyro, the green screen is better for Megalon YMSF. So yeah.
By the way, since you expressed that you really like Godzilla vs King Ghidorah, I will tell you that it won't it won't like everything you probably liked about it will be will remain. Think like the new one is gonna be like that one but on steroids. Like it's gonna be even more epic. So it's not gonna be like I don't think anything changed in the new version of Godzilla vs King Ghidorah Battle for Earth will be anything that I don't think you'll dislike the changes. I think everybody's gonna like the newer runs better. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but because I also not only am I planning on betting better effects and stop motion, but I also want to make the stories and characters better. So
I see. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe you can improve into stop motion also. If you're gonna do stop motion, try adding motion blur. It'll really make shit look good. Have you seen A Sosa production stop motion?
oh yeah, Asusa is like another inspiration for me to get into stop motion. It's just I don't know about time because I have lots of stuff going on, so I just have to fit this doing the fan film in my schedule.
You're right. But have you seen what he does with the stop motion with the motion blur? Like how it looks fast and it looks like he's actually moving it with his hand, but really it's just stop motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you could try doing that. All he did, which is pretty much took like a shit ton of photos and put motion blur over it.
I mean, I think that's something you do in After Effects pretty easily.
Yeah, that's what it is. After Effects.
You just literally just click this button and it'll make it motion blur, which is cool.
Well, it's not a button. It's something you drag onto the footage and you just edit it. Like, I'm actually on After Effects right now editing something for my stop motion that's gonna come soon. Mechagodzilla versus Gaios.
The thing is part of the reason why I kind of been procrastinating on the fan film. It's just stop motion. It kind of just looks daunting to do. So and I really didn't do much of it in the 3 films I made. So that's that. So it's kind of scary a tiny bit. If I'm not gonna lie,
I do a combination of 3 things. Stop motion. I might try doing 4. Stop motion, real life footage. Well, not real life footage, but just footage. For example, a mob pushing another monster or something, or just using the puppet tool, like Daikaiju Legends does sometimes. Uses the puppet tool. I usually do that for the Bandai vinyls, like Anger's or something. And I want to try giving SFM another chance, Source Filmmaker, but they don't have all the characters I really want to mess with. But they got Megalon, so I guess Megalon would still be my ship, but just SFM. So I get my hands on some Megalon figure.
I have the Limus of Megalon actually.
So does Jaro. That's why I used the test footage on. I actually am starting to get back into Megalon now. Now I actually want to start hunting for one as soon as I get money after I cop Guy again. A Guy again, at least. I don't know which Guy I'm going to get next. Probably Final Wars. But man, do you own any more box figures?
I own the the Bandai 1993 Rodan, like the brown colors.
Oh,
I don't think anything else really specifically from the Memorial Box. I mean, I have the 6-inch Junior. I think that's from the Memorial Box.
can I see it?
I mean, I guess.
I'm gonna get mine too. And maybe hold on one second. I'm gonna go get mine.
Okay. Okay, here it is. Okay, this is disorienting. Okay, there it is. Can you see it?
I'm back.
Oh, you
Yeah,
left?
see it. Yeah, I told you I want to go get him. He's using.
Oh, I also have the 2000 from the no. Actually, that's the normal 2000 Bandai, not the Memorial Box one. But yeah, this is the Junior 6-inch.
What does it say at the bottom?
What does it say at the bottom? It says Bandai 2002. Okay, that's probably not from the Memorial Box then, because the Memorial Box came out in 2004.
I know, but like mine says 2000. Sometimes the dates are wrong for some reason, but mine says 2002. Okay. Does it say 1998 Toho?
It says 1995 Toho.
And what about TM and I don't know what that is.
That's a copyright symbol.
Oh yeah, copyright. Does the number say? Does it say China 11369?
It says 115. I think that's 5. No, is that 6? I think that might be 69.
Let me get on my flashlight. Maybe I can see this shit better. Okay, 11869.
Yeah, mine does want to say 11869. Yeah.
Okay, then looks like you have the Memorial Box Junior.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Let's see.
I also have the Memorial Box Godzillasaurus, I think, because I have the brown one. I have a gray one and a brown one because I needed 2 Godzillasaurus for God of Monsters.
I see. How big is if one of them's 8 inches, it's probably from the 40th Memorial Box set.
Well, both of them are the same size. I think they're in the 8-inch scale.
Oh, really? Do you have any 8-inch Final figures besides those 2?
The King Kong is 8-inch. The Rodan, I believe, is the 8-inch scale. I believe that the Mogira, the first Mogira I got, because I did end up getting the Bandai 6-inch Mogira 1G Fest, but the first Mogira I got was actually the 8-inch, and it was in very poor condition.
Ooh. I got my original Mogira. It's 6 inches for like $20. Not really worth that much for some reason. There was recently a movie Monster Series version 1, but I don't see many people copping it unless they're big fans. But yeah, honestly, I don't really see the need for me to have vinyls. Unless there's no such thing as a super articular version of them, or a much cheaper option. Like for example, I saw my Memory Box Godzilla 2000 for like $60 or $70. I took the money, bought something else, and still got to keep 2000 because I copped the Movie Monster Series one and still had money to spend. Let's see.
I think there's some merit in the Bandai figures. Like, I do really like the Junior, even though I have the Monster Arts.
Yeah, same. Oh, how many figures do you have in your collection?
What?
How many figures do you have in your whole Godzilla collection?
Jeez, I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean,
Maybe she can. While you count, I'm gonna put Junior back in the other room.
oh, Driver Production is a question. Remember the question I asked about your Godzilla King Ghidorah? That confused me. I don't what? Remember the question I asked about my Godzilla King Ghidorah? That confused me. Are you saying I asked a question that confused you, or you asked a question that confused me? Because like the way you have it sounded makes no sense. Yeah, I'm gonna go count my figures. Just a second.
I'm back. What were you saying? Oh, muted. Okay. Excuse me. Wait, what? What are you even talking about, Gyro?
Okay, so I have like 122 figures.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah, and I actually forgot to mention. I actually have the Monster Arts Mothra. I forgot because she was tucked away in the back of the shelf. But yeah, I have her.
You
I
said
forgot to mention when I was saying my Monster Arts collection.
Are you sure? Because I think you did. Unless I was confused with Batra.
Gyro Productions asked, "How did Godzilla have the flashback when he was in the egg the whole time?" He wasn't in the egg the whole time. He was one of the two Godzilla swords. I know some people were actually confused. I was actually watching a live stream of somebody watching the movie when it first came out, and somebody actually thought that the two Godzilla swords were Godzilla's parents. But that's actually not the case. I actually might. I wonder. Yeah, is this a common misconception with my films? Do people think that like the Cretaceous flashback? Do people like think that those are Godzilla's parents like often? Because like that's actually not the case.
Wait.
It's supposed to be Godzilla and his mate, and that's supposed to be their egg. So like no, Godzilla wasn't in the egg. He was the male Godzilla sword that saw King Ghidorah land.
I always thought it was his parents. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was. Okay, so I believe in Robot Monsters. They do this whole exposition about the fact that the Godzilla swords were trapped in ice. You know, they were frozen for millions of years, so that's how they kind of survived. So I'm thinking maybe since I'm going to reboot it, maybe a better explanation would be nice, because like
that's one of the big
seems way far fetched. Just like two individuals surviving for millions of years. It sounds ridiculous, to be honest. I think I'd much rather go for the idea that like there was a secluded island where like the Godzilla swords managed to survive, but they were like gradually going extinct, and there was only a family of them left. Or maybe Godzilla swords. Maybe there's actually more than just the one family of Godzilla swords on the island. I don't know.
Or does the gods or like the legendary Godzilla definitely survive millions of years? Like maybe there's one just hibernating underground for like a long ass time.
Oh, I know what I could do. So, like the Godzillasaurus, maybe I can have it so like the Godzillasaurus don't exist in the Cretaceous. Rather, they're like a species. They're like the result of like a certain like ceratosaurus dinosaur that is secluded on an island, and it's the result of millions of years of evolution between the Cretaceous extinct, like the KPG mass extinction event, and modern day, like the 50s. Um, I think it sounds like a much better idea than two Godzillasaurs that managed to survive in ice, and their egg that managed to live in ice for tens of millions of years. Yeah, looking
That wouldn't
back,
make sense, but
it's a good thing. It's a good thing I'm rebooting it because
yeah, that's probably a good idea.
uh
What was it?
I like
Oh
that
yeah,
idea much better of the Godzillasaurus being a result of millions of years of evolution. It explains their unique attributes, like their uprightness and their like high emotional capacity. Um,
if you're gonna do that, you should definitely use some skeletons to show that there was other Godzillas also, but they're dead. Or
Gyro
Gami
Predator
Godzilla,
said,
sorry.
"So what's in the egg?" Well, what's in the egg was their baby, and in like the original like three movies, that was actually baby Godzilla. He got frozen along with his parents, and the egg thawed later. It got separated from the parents and it thawed later, so it thawed like right before Robot Monsters. Well, the parents thawed in the 50s, so like yeah, that egg is technically actually baby Godzilla. And yeah, that's another kind of plot hole. Is like baby Godzilla, like because dinosaur babies, like a theropod dinosaur baby would obviously not be the size of a human, like as soon as hatching. Like that's more of the fact that in the Heisei series, Godzillasaurus is like sauropod size, like it's enormous. But in my like series, like Godzillasaurus is actually the size of like a typical theropod dinosaur, and yet baby Godzilla's the size of a human. So I need to like include like some sort of explanation as to why he's that big, like some sort of radiation. So that's a good idea, Gyro. How about a small meteor hits and irradiates the egg? I mean, I wouldn't say a meteor. I think that's pretty weird. A meteor hitting it and
Or
radiating it. That just sounds like it break the egg. But
yo, I
maybe
know one. I know one. You could have some radioactive shit like near the area. Like there's
exactly.
humans like testing some radioactive stuff, and then the radiation gets to the egg, and then it hatches.
That's interesting. I just have to. I
You
have to.
have to do.
I have to figure
Make
out
the
a way that one of the eggs, like I have to figure out a way that one of the eggs shows up later in the 90s when the Godzilla God of Monsters takes place in the 50s. Like there has to be like a reason that like there's still a Godzillasaurus egg left in the 90s. Um, maybe
Oh, I know one. It could have been
maybe
found by the humans, but
yeah, but like where did it come from?
shit, you're right. It could have been with the
I was actually gonna suggest what were you gonna say?
a whole nother Godzilla.
Hmm. Well, I mean, the point of like Godzilla's initial arc is that like he's kind of supposed to be alone. That's why he's so angry. It's because he's lonesome. Poor Godzilla needs some companions, but doesn't have any. That's why he's so mad. Partially. It's also because
I know,
he's scarred and an abomination. But I just thought of an idea. Maybe like one of the eggs like was stillborn, but like some radioactive material like makes it like mutates it so it's able to hatch.
or how about this? Okay, this is gonna sound pretty fucked up, but at the same time, like you said, you want Godzilla to be alone. So the egg hatches, it lives for a while, and then King Ghidorah or some other monster kills it, and it angers Godzilla, and that's why he has such hatred for King Ghidorah.
When would this take place? Because King Ghidorah
Uh,
was trapped in an asteroid between the Cretaceous extinction and and all the way till 1989 when he re-arrives on Earth. And the beginning, there's going to be a new intro to Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, because the Godzilla Source stuff that you see at the beginning, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, the old one, is going to be seen at the beginning of God of Monsters instead. It's not going to be the same clip though, because that clip isn't really up to par with the effects work I want for this new movie. But
You're right, but you really should have a monster kill off the other Godzilla, the other baby Godzilla, because it's like this: Godzilla is so close to being not alone again, and then it gets killed by another monster, and that just angers him, and now he has an ambition to kill all the other monsters.
well,
That will just give him like vengeance.
that's interesting.
You'd feel Godzilla's pain, like why he's so angry and shit. You'll understand him, and not just it's not like just a random stop motion. No, it's like a whole story, like with emotions and like yeah, and they have personality. Also,
Meteor is
Godzilla has
actually
personality.
Gyro Productions said Meteor is actually Ghidorah. Egg hatches and sees Ghidorah kills parents, and Ghidorah throws baby in volcano. Oh damn! Ghidorah is freaking malicious. Then millions of years later, Godzilla rises from Mount Fuji. That's interesting.
Yeah, I actually kind of want that. That you should save that chat from. Let's take a screenshot of what Jared said. And say maybe consider that, or do something
That's
like
a good
that.
thing I'm rebooting it. There's a lot of cool ideas I can kind of experiment with here.
Yes, because what I want to see, in my opinion, I want King Ghidorah to be responsible for something tragic with Godzilla. I want because like it seems like King Ghidorah just like it's just another monster in a way.
In
But
the
King Ghidorah,
original Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, it does still work, I feel, because he was the one that caused the Cretaceous extinction. So you could argue that, at least, in that universe, he didn't actually cause the Cretaceous extinction in real life, obviously. But anyway, you could still argue that, you could actually argue that King Ghidorah caused all the tragedy in Godzilla's life. Because if King Ghidorah never showed up, then, like, he would just lived his normal life as a dinosaur in the Cretaceous period.
yeah, that's true. But like that Godzilla probably would have that Godzilla probably like wouldn't really understand at the time. But the thing is, when Godzilla has a chance to be with another Godzilla, it gets taken away from him again, and that is what pisses him off and hates all Ghidorahs.
Hmm.
In the future, maybe you want to include another Ghidorah or something, because Ghidorah is also a species. Like there's unused concept art from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah where the Doras came from a dead King Ghidorah carcass on Venus, and there was supposed to be a sequel called Return of the Ghidorah, where Godzilla would have fought that other King Ghidorah that was the dead carcass, but it turned out to be alive, and they would have fought. So, yeah. So even though
Reminds me, at one point, I actually considered doing Des Ghidorah instead of King Ghidorah just to make the series a little more original. But I think the thing is, like, I would be using a Bandai for that, and that just pales in comparison to the monster as King Ghidorah. So I think I'm going to stick with King Ghidorah just because, and also, King Ghidorah is just too iconic to, like, just not include in a Godzilla series.
you're right, but Def Ghidorah does like a lot of people want to see him in a fight with Godzilla, and plus there's other shit you can do with I can edit some scenes for you with the puppet tool, so that way it makes him move like in ways like a vinyl would never move.
Let's
And
do the
also
puppet pin tool. I don't really know how I'd choreograph a fight between Godzilla and Death Ghidorah. The thing is, if you think about a Rebirth of Mothra, they didn't even really choreograph a fight. They just kind of shoot their beams at each other.
you're right, but with this though, Def Ghidorah, okay, this will show Godzilla how much he hates the whole Ghidorah species. One Ghidorah fucked with him, and now he's gonna fuck with the whole Ghidorah species. Like, it's pretty much a war with the Godzilla versus Ghidorahs. Godzilla have an ambition to kill every single one he sees.
King Ghidorah is the offspring from Cretaceous that is found in Wake when Godzilla rises from Mount Fuji, because it creates a big earthquake where King Ghidorah was buried, and the shake wakes Ghidorah. Huh. No, I do agree that Godzilla should have a complete hate relationship with King Ghidorah, because King Ghidorah took things personal to him. But I also really want to also hone in on the fact that Godzilla is also supposed to have a hate relationship with the humans because of what they take from him. Because and this is emphasizing Godzilla God of Monsters during like the whole colonization thing.
Maybe Creatious Ghidorah should be the one responsible for killing Godzilla's parents. And like Godzilla doesn't specifically get revenge on that Ghidorah, so maybe in the future. But King Ghidorah should definitely be one that Godzilla hates because it's a Ghidorah. Pretty much Godzilla is like racist to Ghidorahs in a way.
Huh. I know in the original, in Godzilla, like my original Godzilla's King Ghidorah, I have Cretaceous King Ghidorah be the one that lands in the Cretaceous period. And then like once he gets freed from the asteroid, he's Heisei Ghidorah. But when I was planning on remaking him, I was planning on having him as the Heisei Ghidorah the whole time, just because like that having him as a Heisei Ghidorah means that I can do more articulation during, because I was actually planning on showing like some of the destruction King Ghidorah is going to cause in the Cretaceous. So like show him like destroying stuff, and it would be better to do that with a Monster X figure.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not that bad to try other stuff, and plus, it'll show that there's more to the Ghidorah species, and that Godzilla will just not just hate that one Ghidorah, he hates fucking every Ghidorah in the whole goddamn world like that.
So now you can
and like Jaro said,
Godzilla
you can have
remembers
flashbacks.
Cretaceous dropping him in a volcano and killing parents.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not flashbacks specifically, but there's like, well, yes, flashbacks in a way, but it's not like a whole ass scenes, but it's like visuals of visual flashback. Like it doesn't last too long. It's just like a few pictures or like very very quick played clips of it, of what happened.
Yeah, one thing about Godzilla's King Ghidorah that sometimes I look back to is that like there's like 3 or 4 times where like the movie just like stops for like a good like 10 or 15 seconds just to have flashbacks.
Well, don't do it for too long.
Yeah,
that's why I just said quick visual ones. Like where it lasts only like a few seconds. Like one of them would be like Ghidorah drops Godzilla into it and it flashes to Godzilla laying in the volcano, and it just shows Gracious Ghidorah killing Godzilla's parents, and then Godzilla just has evil, like very angry fire in his eyes and tears. And he just witnesses his own parents being killed by Ghidorah, and then it shows Godzilla, like in the modern time, of course, having fire in his eyes, like having such hatred for King Ghidorah, and then they start to fight.
Okay.
I'm gonna end this real soon. So, like, does anybody else have any questions? Because I plan to in like 7 minutes, so that way it reaches the 3-hour mark, and it's like 2 in the morning. And gotta wake up early tomorrow to do stuff.
Man, what?
Nothing. Jar says you see the flashback in a PO view, like you are got. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like,
that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's a first person view of Godzilla. Like, it shows his parents getting killed, and then it faces Godzilla's eyes, like a little bit of tears maybe, and like just fire in his eyes, and yeah, pretty much just fire in his eyes. And then it cuts to the the Godzilla in present time, still fire in his eyes, zooming out. It's like, you know how in some movies, like, there's flashbacks of a kid that's like crying, and then it shows their adult self, like just either mad or upset. Also, like you could do that for Godzilla. And Gyro says, like I said, G&G, I'll make a generic storyboard video. Yeah, I can give you some great ideas if you let me hop on that shit, man.
That's great. Yeah, I was gonna say, Gyro, we really need to like continue this discussion like over Instagram DMs. I was actually wondering, like, okay, like, are you gonna like tell me, like, what your idea is for like this big movie, or like?
I can give you mini plot and scene ideas also.
Mm-hmm.
And like how to do some of the fights and stuff. Maybe some camera angles too. And pretty much similar to how I'm just gonna say his name one thing. KZ621 does with his like Pacific JSB Danger for Godzilla. There's different camera angles, like where the sword comes out and it just hits Godzilla and like it faces a different way. You could do something like that. Like for example, you show Godzilla's hand, it moves and hits Ghidorah, then it just shows the full thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like multiple different cameras recording. That's what they did for the yeah, that's what they do for multiple movies. They film the same exact scenes with two different camera angles, and then they just edit and put it together.
Okay, Gyro said just condensed to make plot and story more solid. I'd like to hear more specifics on that. Like, what exactly do you want me to cut?
Well,
like, since you watched like my 3 movies, I was expecting you to have like detailed criticism.
Like I wouldn't say cut, but like just like change up a bit, like how everybody thought one the Eagles Godzilla's parents or something.
Uh-huh.
That's one that needs to get changed. Oof. Let me think here. For this is just a fan idea, but for Godzilla, when he's like really mad and he shoots his breath, you should maybe like add a little bit of glow to his eyes, like how Godzilla does in 2019. So that way it makes your Godzilla look more unique.
Mm-hmm. Probably have, because I love the yellow eye motif. In fact, like the yellow eyes is going to be something that's kind of emphasized as like basically it's going to be representative of like his rage and hatred, a lot like yellow eyes actually are in Star Wars, with like the dark side, how once you become like a fully dedicated Sith, you have the Sith yellow eyes. Like it's going to be similar to that. I definitely would love to play with the yellow eye motif a lot. Just I don't have 2 Godzilla swords, but I'll use 1 Godzilla sword and then Godzilla Junior. I'll stick to the main story because use G&G a lot in film.
Hey Gyro, if you don't have 2, you do realize you have a green screen and blue screen. You could just film 2 different scenes and put it together. All you're doing is just keying out the background, so that way it looks like you have 2 of them. Which that's honestly what I'm doing for Angers and Baragon for my stuff. Whole species and family of them. Gyro says I'll stick to your main story because you use G-Energy a lot in the film. What's G-Energy? I don't remember what that is.
He's referring to G&G from Godzilla Returns.
Oh,
remember that was a plot. That was a plot point in Godzilla Returns with the G-Energy. That was attracting Godzilla to Japan. It was very minor, actually. It was like the whole reason it exists is because I saw it in Godzilla the game and I was like, oh, that's cool. Well, Godzilla PS4, I should say, and I kind of implemented it as a way like give Godzilla kind of like a goal to he wants to get to Tokyo because hey, the G-Energy is there. I definitely like with the reboot of the remake of Godzilla Returns. I wanted to I was still gonna bring G Energy, but it was actually gonna be a huge part of like the human story too. There was gonna be huge conflict about it. You know, there's actually gonna be like a nuclear family dynamic and with some of the characters and there'd be like this big kind of more of a build up to Godzilla Awakening. You know, it's interesting. I think.
Yeah, maybe we should make a group chat on Instagram about your film, and just add ideas, and you could take notes on that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm finna end this. Because I'm finna end this in like a minute or two.
Okay.
Do you want to make it right now?
I mean, sure. I guess. Do you want me to make it or?
I'm already on Instagram on my phone now, so I might as well do it. All right, there we go. Made it.
Okay, so Gyro Productions. It should be the group chat. You know, should be in your It's gonna be in your message requests. I think.
Yeah, you gotta check your Instagram, Gyro. But yeah, we can talk more about this in that group chat because I'm finna end this and I'm finna do a couple things and I'm heading to bed, man. I mean, are you down to call tomorrow in the group chat? Like, gonna hang out one?
I guess so. I can't join from 12 to 5 because I work. But other than that, yeah, I'm free.
Do you live Eastern time?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's fine because I'll be out all day, but I'll definitely be back at night around this time also. Because I gotta see what this comic book's.
Also, so this was actually a lot of fun. You know, even though there wasn't really much of an audience, I think I mostly just enjoyed. I actually really enjoyed talking. I really enjoyed the conversations.
Well, I mean, I do sometimes hold kaiju discussions and like other streams that aren't interviews. So like, if you're willing to do kaiju discussions with some other people, we can do that again.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
by the way, I was saying that I actually really enjoyed the conversations we were having. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, same, man. It feels like the first time we actually had a long-term conversation in the first time.
Well, yeah, it is the first time. I mean, before you would never join calls.
I mean, I wasn't really acknowledging Hangouts. I was mainly calling like Evan's group and like all those people. But now I've just been checking out other people groups and see what's up with them.
Checking out other people.
Oh, okay, now okay, you're usually I'm supposed to be the dirty one here, and now you pretty much just
me. No, I think I'm gonna. I think I've definitely surpassed you in terms of coming up with dirty jokes.
I know something dirty to read, but I don't know if I want to read it on here. I think you already know what it is. Wait, should I just read it? Wait, where is it?
Oh my god, you talking about the freaking Jar Jar theater thing?
Yeah, theater. Where the fuck is that shit?
Oh my god. Oh my god, are you actually gonna read it aloud? Oh my god.
I want Jaro. Jaro's probably gonna be like, what the fuck is he even reading? Do you have it? Because I don't know where the fuck it is.
Yeah, I have it.
Ooh, send it.
It's this thing I found on Facebook. It is so haram. It is so bad. Okay. Here's the picture.
It's very fucked up.
It's literally just text.
It's text, but but what's in the text is very disturbing. Also, I'm gonna save this in memes or something, so I can always come back to this. Okay, add to album.
Oh
okay,
God.
here we go. Okay, This is absolute fucking bullshit. I went to see Attack of the Clones in the theater yesterday. When Jar Jar Binks got hot with paying them on
No, it's
cruise
Padme.
can,
Jesus, you don't know anything about Star Wars.
Padme on cruise, my boner engaged when Jar Jar said, "Oi, moly, oi!" I couldn't help it. I closed my eyes and I tore my dick to shreds. Legitimate, like motions, pulling with great force. That was one of the best nuts I ever had. Just thinking about it now gets me riled up. Thing is, I nutted all over the kid sitting next to me, and his mom got all pissed at me, screaming at me for jacking off on her son. I told that bitch to shut the fuck up, and that jacking off is a natural, artistic, beautiful process. You should be happy that my semen's all over your son.
Oh my
Maybe
gosh.
he can learn a lesson.
Oh my gosh.
Listen to about the culture
So
and the art
horrible.
of jacking off. However, the movie theater managers didn't agree with me. They kicked me out of the movie theater, and I didn't even finish watching Attack of the Clones. Not only that, they made me clean up my semen after it already dried out and solidified on the seats. That's torture. Do you even know how hard it is to clean semen after it's dried out? You clean semen after it's fresh out of your cock, not an hour after you fucking nutted. This is a fucking outrage. Do you really expect me to not whip out my cock and jack off when I see a hot
Oh
sex
my
scene in the movie?
gosh.
Either don't ban sex scenes in movies or let me jack off in your theater, assholes.
Oh my god, damn, this is so horrible. This fucking live stream is definitely gonna get taken down.
Well, I mean, if it does, I can just edit this part out.
Okay. And I don't think anybody was
And
watching, so like I don't think
I mean,
he's
Giles,
too
like,
busy on
watching.
Instagram, so probably didn't even hear it, and that's probably for the greater good.
Yeah, probably.
He's
Yeah,
probably
Joe.
better off not hearing it, you know?
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. And I'm gonna ask him what I said on the live.
Oh my gosh.
What is this Stany sent? What is this? Oh wow, that's actually pretty nice. The Kong footage.
Okay, good.
Oh god. Oh god, thank god, thank god. But alright, man, I think I'm gonna end this now.
Yeah,
If I don't do an interview tomorrow, I'll definitely host a kaiju discussions live, and I'll invite you, Pacific, Goji, and a Sam named Sam, maybe some other people like Pigeon.
Okay, that's cool.
All right, man. So everybody subscribe to G&G Fan. It was nice having you on board here, and thanks for watching. Please leave a like, comment, be sure to subscribe to me, Gator Studios, and GG Fan. Follow us on Instagram. I'll see you guys in the next vid or live stream. Good night, y'all. Broadcast.